good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Thursday, June 6th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my compañeros this morning. I got my guy TC Stills, and I got the one and only, the lovely Grace Monroe. Folks, how we doing this morning?
Woo! I got nothing to say, and I might as well just leave now. Everything is amazing. Right. Everything is great. Nobody rocked the boat, okay?
Nope. TC, how you feeling this morning on this Thursday, June 6th, player? How you feeling right now?
I'm on cloud nine. I mean, glad to be back. I missed on Tuesday, but glad to be here with all y'all. As Grace would say. Yankees are just I'm blown away. I just watched the game like, yeah, another victory. Yeah. Like ho hum. It's like this team is just it's rolling on all cylinders. Everybody contributing now. I mean, it's defense, it's offense, it's the pitching, it's the relievers. It's just fun to watch. It's just fun to watch Yankee games, and us Yankee fans deserve it after that last year's season.
Oh man,
we deserve this so much, and I'm glad. I hope it keeps up for the rest of the year.
We gotta keep this rolling because we got somebody backstage that he's in a different environment, right? We may not be used to seeing this version of Damian Serrano.
Okay.
So let me bring up Damian Serrano to the panel. Hold on, let me just set this up real different. So I'm gonna bring up my guy Damian Serrano. Damian, how are you feeling this morning?
Anticipation.
Is he in a pool?
Oh, back porch live.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like this, Damian.
Good, man. I had to find a nice little quiet area at the office to go ahead and talk to you guys. You know what I mean? So I like it too. I'm not in the car. My legs cramped up, all that good stuff. So we good. We'll take it. Good morning, Hector, TC, Miss Grace, everybody in the chat.
Ciara said, that's not Damian. No way is that Damian. Yes, it is Damian. Shout out to Anna Marie. Let's do the roll call real quick, right? Since we got Damian up here. Shout out to my guy from the nosebleed section. Salute to you. My good friend Ciara's in the building. Erica Garcia's in the building. John Polidoro is in the building. John, how you doing? Stephen B is in the building. My guy, Old Sarge, is in the building. Sarge, salute to you. Hope all is well. On Dios NYK is in the building. Salute. Hit the like button. Smash the emojis. Also subscribe to the channel. Help us out. We're trying to grow here. We're on our way to 5K, and we got to get over that hump. So help us get to 5K. Shout out to my guy Cheesy Soul Cakes in the building. Cheesy Soul Cakes, I miss you, my guy. The Knicks aren't playing. I can't talk to my guy Cheesy Soul Cakes, but we here to talk about the New York Yankees. And like Grace was saying, and like TC was saying, the New York Yankees, the wins, they just keep on rolling. Right now on the season, the New York Yankees are tied with the Philadelphia Phillies for the best record in all of Major League Baseball. We are 44-19. The Baltimore Orioles are right there at 39-21. And shout out to the Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians, they have the third best record in baseball. I know at the beginning of the season, I'm guilty of saying that the Guardians should go on a fire sale and trade everybody away, but they've proven me wrong, right? I don't know nothing about baseball then with that. But also, the Dodgers are doing good. They're coming into town. Milwaukee's doing good. Kansas City, the biggest surprise out of all the teams right now at this mark of the season is the Kansas City Royals in the AL Central. So if you're a Royals fan out there, for the 5 Royal fans that are out there in the world, salute to you. Shout out to Uncle Grandpa Tats. How you doing? Hector, where did you score that shirt? It's fire. I need it. I got this when I was down there in spring training. I got it from the Yankee store, the merch store at the George M. Steinbrenner Field.
$150.
Actually, it was on sale. It was 50% off, right? But even on sale, it was $45 on sale. So the original price was $90. Very close. Grace,
worth every penny.
Worth every penny. But the New York Yankees, they did play a game yesterday against the Minnesota Twins, and we're going to switch it up, and we're just going to go about our order just a little bit different. We're going to start with the lineup. We're going to start with the pitching before we get into any of our topics of the day. So, TC, this is our favorite part of the show. I'm going to throw it over to you. Read off the lineup. Go ahead, TC. Folks in the chat, let us know who was your big takeaway from the lineup. Go ahead, TC.
Wow, what can you say about this lineup, man? This is tremendous. Yeah, Anthony Volpe led off 3 for 5. He got 31 straight on base? I mean, he's just rolling along. 290 average. Man, we are just blessed to have him doing what he's doing. Juan Soto 1 for 3, 2 walks. He just gets on base all the time. 319 average. Aaron Judge. What can you say about him? 1 for 3 with 5 RBIs. Clutch double. Oh, it was actually a triple. He's up to 293. I just blink of an eye. He's went up like 100 points. It's unbelievable. Alex Verdugo was 0 for 3, but that defense in the left field, that nice catch. He had an RBI though, flat sack fly, 252 average. Big G had a nice hit in the first inning, 2 for 4. He had 1 RBI, 2 strikeouts, 237. He's all right. Ho hum. Just keep doing what you're doing. Anthony Rizzo 1 for 4. It's okay, 236. Gleyber Torres 1 for 4. Nice little C&I double in the corner there. He didn't even know where the ball was. And he's batting 231. It's okay. He's coming. He's getting there. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Austin Well was 0 for 3. He had a walk, batting 190. We won't talk anymore about that. And DJ LeMahieu 0 for 2 with 2 walks, batting 182. He's slowly, making his way in the lineup, but no problems with DJ.
Yeah, and DJ LeMahieu, they said it on the broadcast yesterday. If you guys, I was listening to both the radio and to the regular broadcast or the TV. Shout out to the Yankees putting Ricky Ricardo in the booth with Susan. I think that pairing, that should be what it is. Richie Ricardo and Susan Wallman should be calling the games going forward. I think that's a great pairing. But they said it during the broadcast that if you're watching DJ LeMahieu, at least he's having solid at-bats. The results may not be there, but he's not getting overmatched. He's not getting overpowered. He is still having quality at-bats. He is drawing his warts. He is doing what a big leaguer is supposed to do, coming back from rehab. But the takeaway that I wanted to talk about real quick from the lineup, this is just me personally, but Erica said it in the chat. Gleyber Torres, in his last 10 games, he has 9 hits in his last 10 games. Hashtag valuable, right? I know we could joke that he didn't even know where the ball was when he hit it, but Gleyber Torres over these last 10 games, his batting average is slightly creeping up and creeping up, creeping up. At the end of the season, if Gleyber Torres stays on the pace that he is right now, he could potentially end the season being a 260 or a 270 hitter. Now, I get it. We have our frustrations with Gleyber Torres, but there's other guys that do also struggled. Anthony Rizzo, I think Sierra pointed out on the Twitter space yesterday, Rizzo has more errors than Gleyber Torres, but for some reason, we just want to sacrifice Gleyber Torres as a sacrificial lamb, right? So if we're going to be calling out Gleyber Torres for his mental mistakes, there's a lot of we should be just even keel across the board when it comes to our critiques. That's just me personally. Maybe other people feel about it differently. TC, I'll let you go first and then throw it over to Grace and then Damien when it comes to that point. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to is Rizzo's been a fan favorite. Gleyber's been kind of a sore subject ever since he's so inconsistent. And Anthony Rizzo has done it. He's won a championship with the Cubs. He's just that type of player, and we kind of overlook it. I mean, because he makes great plays at first. He saves a lot of errors from third base, Volpe. He's very valuable in clutch hitting as well. But we're overlooking his defense this year, and from last year to this year, that concussion took a toll on his abilities, both hitting and defensively. It's a shock, but yeah, we should lay off Gleyber. He's starting to come around. And I liked, especially when Rodon had to get out of that inning, Gleyber made sure he got in front of that ball. And that's what I want to see. He needs to make an effort like that. Make sure you get in front of the ball. That's Little League. Don't be doing this Olay to the side. So maybe he's been talked to, and we're seeing some improvements. So I hope it keeps up.
Yeah, and that's a great point because I know exactly what he got down to his knee to make sure the ball was coming right to him instead of that Ole fancy trying to be Robinson Cano. And Erica Garcia puts in the chat, Gleyber owned up to his mistakes last night during his post-game press conference. He said he wasn't helping at all early in the season, and it's nice to get in on the fun. And it's right. You know, when everybody's able to have fun, that's what you like to see when it comes to the fan. As a fan, this is the most fun I've seen from my New York Yankees since 2009, right? So let me backtrack that. Since Ronald Torreyes, this is the most fun that the Yankees have had since Ronald Torreyes was in the dugout making that fake little camera after everybody was hitting a home run. This is the most fun we've seen. Grace, I'll toss it over to you to get your takes, and then we'll toss it over to our guy, Damien. Folks in the chat, smack the like button for the people. Go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, it ain't the same because to me, it ain't the same because the reason that Gleyber is making errors is not the reason that Anthony Rizzo is making errors, and they're in two different places in their career. Gleyber is young. There is no excuse. He's absent-minded. He's not focused. It's so frustrating to me because he's a better player than what he shows 99% of the time. Anthony Rizzo is an aging world champion, on the other hand, who is still maybe recovering. Maybe he'll never fully recover from his concussion protocol last year. Who knows? We don't know. He looks bad right now, okay? They both look bad for different reasons. They're in different places, okay? So don't even come for me being like, oh, you need to be on Anthony Rizzo like you're on Gleyber Torres. No, it ain't the same. These two things are not the same. Anthony Rizzo looks slow. He looks, tired, and that's why he's missing, and that's why he's struggling at the plate. I want Anthony Rizzo to stop trying to pull the ball altogether. I don't even want to see him pull the ball anymore because he's been trying to do it. He doesn't have the power to lift it to the short porch anymore, which is very concerning. But I want him to take it opposite field. When he does that, he's been having more success just getting on base. And honestly, that's what I want from Anthony Rizzo right now. Don't even worry about the extra base hits. I just want you to try to get on base, my guy. Because if I see him roll over on another double play between first and second base, or just a ground out between first and second base, I'm gonna holler, okay? But that's different than Gleyber Torres counting the butterflies flying by him close to second base or whatever and forgetting how many outs there are, or making a stupid error or getting thrown out on the base path for no damn reason. And that's two different things. So yeah, I got concerns about Anthony Rizzo, but they're not the same as the ones I have about Gleyber Torres. Period, point blank.
Good morning, you fine people. This is why I enjoy having these conversations, because we don't all agree on everything, right? I have a certain way that I view my team. TC does, Grace does, and Damien as well. And that's the one thing. We don't tell fans how to fan. That's been the first rule since you guys tuned into the Morning Brew Sports. Whether we're talking about Knicks, whether we're talking about Rangers, Jets, whatever it is, we don't tell people how to fan. We allow people to have their voice. We allow people to have their opinion. This is not an echo chamber where all of us are going to have the same take. And with that being said, I will never argue against Grace because I'm going to lose the argument 10 times out of 10. I will never, ever try to debate Grace because she makes valid points, and they're also amazing points at the same time, Grace.
Let me say one more thing. In defense of Gleyber, his offense has been coming around and has been good. And the last couple days, whatever, Erica put up a stat, or Erica mentioned a stat from a recent game amount of time. I don't remember how many games she said. But I have been noticing he hasn't been costing us games. And so therefore, I'm good with it. Like, I don't care. I don't need Gleyber Torres to be this huge slugger. I just need him to have a modest game. And then I'm not mad at him. We're good. No tea. You know what I mean? As long as he's not costing us games, I ain't got no problems. But it's when he costs us games, and it's so frustrating because the reason he costs us games is because something so fixable that if he would just freaking step up, because he's better than that. He's better than that. Anthony Rizzo might not be better than that anymore, and that's the hard truth of Father Time and injuries and the culmination of a lot of things. But Gleyber Torres is better than that. Okay, so that's why I'm frustrated.
I get where you're coming from. You're coming from a point not saying that Gleyber Torres is not a good player. You're saying that Gleyber Torres is a way better player than what we're seeing. So that's where the frustration comes. And that's different than a lot of the fans that are on Twitter screaming, oh, Gleyber Torres is a bum. Just trade him. Just get rid of him. That's not what Grace is saying. Grace is saying she knows Gleyber Torres can take it to that next level. And we've all seen Gleyber Torres take it to the next level. And that's Erica saying the same thing. Erica said, that's my point. I still don't care for the Yankees to sign him next year. It's this year that matters. Just be an average Gleyber that can help us win it all. Absolutely. And I think all of us could agree with that sentiment right there. I just want to do a few shout outs real quick before I throw it over to Damien. Shout out to my guy Ghost in the building. My guy Ghost is in the building. Make sure you guys follow Ghost on Twitter. Make sure you follow me and Damien on Twitter. We do the pregame space for the Yankees. We're going to do it later on today at 6 p.m. Because wait, the game's later on tonight, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the game's later on tonight. I think because I know on Thursdays. Yeah, it's 7:05. No, I get these last 2 Thursdays, they've been night games. Normally the Yankees play early on Thursday, so that's why I've been confused. Shout out to my guy Joey Bag of Donies is in the building. Joey Bag of Donuts, how you doing? This is another fine motherfucker. I mean, this is another fine person you guys need to follow on Twitter. I'm trying to watch the F-bombs just because we have things down the pipeline, so I have to clean my language going forward. So no more vulgar language on streams just because of things coming down the pipeline. Cross your fingers. Shout out to my guy Richie Martinez in the building. Hector looking golf ready, about to hit them links. Salute. First of all, I am the king of miniature golf. You take me to a miniature golf course, you better have your money. I'm taking your lunch money. I'm taking your arcade coins. I'm doing everything. But no, shout out to everybody that's in the building. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Uncle Tats from the Pinstripe Chronicle saying Grace is on fire. My guy Paul Niles says, damn. This is when Grace was laying down the law.
Sorry, y'all.
And shout out to my uncle Stephen Fox. I love this man, Stephen Fox. Everybody, whenever you see Foxy in the chat, just always shout out to Foxy. When I move, my new studio is going to be called Studio Foxy. I'm going to be tuning in live from Studio Foxy. Damien, I'll throw it over to you, my guy. Let us know, bro. What's your thoughts on the convo?
Man, Grace just sounded like my mom and dad when they said, Damien, I'm not mad at you. Yeah. I'm just very disappointed in you.
Yeah.
And that almost hurts even more. But, yesterday, during the pregame on Twitter, I went over Gleyber's numbers the last 16, 15 games. Listen, we all know what Gleyber's done. We all know who he is. We all know how Gleyber is. He plays according to his mind, right? So he goes right now, 15 games, 275 average, 886 OPS, 551 slug. That's the Gleyber Torres we want, right? So he's gearing towards that. He's gearing towards what he is. And at the end of the day, Gleyber has something to play for, and that's a contract.
Yeah.
Maybe not be with the New York Yankees, but it's with another team. Gleyber at his top, at his best, is $100 million second baseman. At his best. So if we can get that Gleyber Torres out of him, then listen, the lineup completely filters down. And that's a 7-hole hitter with an 886 OPS the last 15 games. So we can't ask for anything more. Really can't. So, when you have the best teams in the league, everybody wants a 1 through 9 to be absolutely great. Everybody wants them to have over 800 OPSs, but that's just not realistic. So we're always going to have 1 or 2 players that may drag us down, but help us out defensively. Wells, DJ, those were the 2, right? Rizzo at this point, he hasn't really done his thing on first base, so he's kind of hurting us on both sides of the ball. But if we can get Gleyber Torres, who lately has been playing defense slightly better, he's made some good plays out there. Offense is starting to pick up. He's starting to feel comfortable in his own skin. I'm good with Gleyber, and I'm good with Gleyber for this year, and this year only, because we all know he's not going to be re-signed. So I think maybe if the fan base, right, can kind of get behind Gleyber, kind of like they did homeboy over at the Phillies. Instead of booing him, they cheered him. Gleyber, again, he's a mental case. He needs a hug every once in a while.
Yeah, Trey Turner.
Trey Turner, exactly. So maybe if the fan base actually gives Gleyber some Trey Turner love, maybe he turns it around a little bit. Because, again, he's only here for 1 year. So we only got to show him all that love for this last 4 or 5 months, and that's it. So let's get behind Gleyber for the last couple months, and let's see what happens.
No, you 100% spot on, Damien, and that's a great point, right? Because we are in the month of June, and June is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So when we having these conversations about athletes and mental pressure is a big factor that athletes they have to go under, right? We've seen so many great athletes that they were phenomenal in high school, they were phenomenal in college, but when they got to the professional level, they couldn't continue that success, whether it's a hustle, a drive, or a mental thing, right? So I don't want anyone out there, if you're dealing with anything, if you're going through anything, don't think we're just picking on people that's going through stuff, because we acknowledge Mental Health Awareness Month here at the Morning Brew Sports. Make sure you tune into the Positivity Show every morning that my brother Celso Porto does, because it's sports themed, but it's more of a let's just relax, let's have a good time, and let's unplug our brain, because we know in the morning it takes a lot of energy if you're going through something to fake the funk. Right. I know what it is to be going through something in my life, but I have to go to work and I got to fake the funk and I got to put on a pretend character just so I can hide what I'm going through at home. So if there's anybody out there, you already know. But to Damien's point, I want to bring this up. When it comes to Gleyber Torres, Scott Brosius for the New York Yankees, right, in 1998, he was a 300 hitter. He had about like 19 home runs as well, 98 RBIs. But his following seasons, he was a 247 hitter with 17 home runs. He was a 230 hitter with 16 home runs. You can't tell me that Gleyber Torres cannot give you production that is better than Scott Brosius did as a 7th or 8th hitter. If we could get Gleyber Torres to hit 240 and hit 20 home runs, are we really going to say that he's a horrible second baseman? Absolutely not. That offensive production alone is better than most second basemen that are out there competing on a championship contender. But it's the defense, right? Just make sure those little defensive mistakes, those little mental moments where you check out of the game, and I'm not sure if it's a butterfly flying in front of your face. I'm guilty of that. I got ADHD. We be having conversations, and in the middle of my point, I be like, holy shit, there's a bird in the air, right? So I know what that's like, right? I definitely do. Shout out to Uncle Grandpa Tats with the $4.99 super chat. Put yourself in the shadow of an athlete where you have to be perfect. Everything, every second you're on the clock.
Yeah,
absolutely, Tax. And that's another thing, right? These guys, they have to, these women, they have to be a perfect version of themselves whenever they're out in public. That alone is enough mental stress for me to wig out and not know how to carry myself, right? So let's just be more gracious when it comes to a lot of these athletes. I know we got more topics to go over, so I'm gonna just switch it up real quick, because we got to talk about Mr. Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon, he brought a perfect game into the 6th inning yesterday, 8-2 on the season. He has a 3.08 ERA, and this is what Lowe said after last night's game. He said, all I want to do is win. I want to perform well for my teammates. I don't want to let my teammates down, and that's it. Folks, how can we argue against what Carlos Rodon is doing this season? Grace, I'll toss it over to you. Lead the convo. How you feel about Lowe's, his performance from last night's, and give him a grade. If you had to give Carlos Rodon a grade, June 6th, I know it's not the middle of the season, but we're more than a quarter done with the season. Let's get a grade for Carlos Rodon.
I'll give him an A, solid A. I mean, and that's amazing considering the year that he had last year. And I had so many doubts about him. And he has shut me up and a lot of people with his production this year. He's been so great. I think he's benefited from not having to carry the entire rotation like we originally thought when Gerrit Cole first went down. We were like, okay, Los, it's time for you to step up. But actually, Heel ended up stepping up, so he doesn't have to he doesn't have the pressure on him to function like an ace, which has really allowed him to come into his own way this year. And it has been a beautiful thing to see. I mean, last night, the man was dealing. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When Los is throwing his curve, you know he's feeling it. You know he's got all the pitches at his command that night, and he is feeling it. I wrote down last night. He threw the slider, the fastball, the changeup, the curve, and threw a cutter in there too. He was just out there throwing whatever he wanted. He was feeling it. He was on. He had a perfect game through 6 innings. Through the top of the 6th inning, and the outfield was making plays for him. I've never seen him so happy in my life. Like, I'm a big person that reads, like, I can read, I don't know if it's my Scorpio moon or what it is, but I can just read, like, energy of people and emotions, and I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong about it. But I'm telling you, I've never seen Carlos Rodon so happy as I saw him last night. When his teammates were making these plays for him, he was literally ecstatic. This guy is always scowling. He's hard on himself. He never wants to come off the mound. He's never satisfied, which we love about him. But last night, he was giddy almost. He was feeling it. And then afterward, when he went to the dugout, Gerrit Cole was talking to him. And my husband said, see Gerrit Cole talking to him? I'm like, yeah, that's Professor Cole. School's in session. That's Professor Cole. And my husband goes, I don't think Rodon likes it. And I said, oh, no, he loves it. He loves it. But the thing is, my husband doesn't watch as closely as I do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I know these guys, which I don't. But I feel like I know these guys just by watching them so much. But I'm like, no, Rodon is into it. He wants to hear whatever Gerrit Cole said. I can tell. And then sure enough, after the game, when they asked him about, you know, losing the perfect game and all that stuff, he immediately threw it over to his team. He immediately said, we got the win. That's all that matters. He didn't let any disappointment cross his face because this man is playing for his teammates, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, big facts, big facts. TC, I'll toss it over to you. And folks in the chat, keep on smacking the like button. Keep on interacting with the emojis. When we get to 10K on the reactions, I'll drop the link to the open panel. So if you guys want to jump up here, just keep on interacting with the emojis, and I'll get you up here for the open panel. I want to shout out my guy NFE, who is in the building. Salute to the strike zone. How you doing? My guy Richie Rivera from Empire State of Baseball says the Yankees might legitimately have 3 starting pitchers participate in the All-Star game. Luis Hill, Marcus Stroman, and Carlos Rodon. You were spot on, my guy Richie. Salute to you. How you doing? And shout out to the young one, my friend Alyssa Serrano. How you doing? How you doing? That's the niece right there. Shout out to the niece in the building. Sunil's in the building as well. Rodon grade is an A+++++. You know what, Sunil? I'm not mad at you for that take, right? Sunil, me and you, we go back and forth. Shout out to my guy Sunil for a hot take. Go ahead, TC.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sunil. I'll have to give him an A+ because I mean, night and day difference from last year. I mean, the nightmarish season for Rodon, you know, he was hurt and he just didn't look good, and he just was he wasn't feeling it. It was just like one of those forgetful seasons. This year, my goodness, he's just come on like gangbusters. I mean, he's just attacking hitters. He topped 99 last night. I mean, when was the last time he did that? So,
wow.
You know, like Grace said, all the pitches were working. The changeup was effective, getting a lot of guys out. 9 strikeouts. I mean, that's excellent. No walks. You know, he had that perfect game, and it's tough to pitch a perfect game. You know, one little thing here and there, but yeah, the defense was great for him. He's having fun out there. I mean, he loved the whole team is just rallying around everybody. I mean, it's just a fun team to be on, and you know, he's right in the middle of it. And you know, he has, if it wasn't for Luis Hill, he'd be our ace. I mean, Luis Hill is a shock to me, to everybody, I think. But Rodon is pitching like an ace with Cole out of there. You know, he's 8-2, 3 you know, ERA, low 3. So he looks excellent. You know, nothing slowing him down. I mean, he could have gone, if it wasn't for that rough 6th inning, he probably would have went 7+. So and that's all we ask for is, you know, 2 runs or less. This pitching staff has been phenomenal. I've never seen a staff this consistent day in, day out, all 5 guys. And Rodon's right there at the top. And yeah, A+ for me.
Yeah. There's somebody on Twitter right now. I'm not going to bring up what they're saying, but I'm blocking you. Ronnie Capone, you're blocked right now on Twitter from being in the chat, viewing us right now. So you're blocked. I'm going to just go screw yourself, my guy. That's all I'm going to say. Damian, I'll toss it over to you. Let's get your take as well. Go ahead, Dame.
Man, being a starting pitcher in this league, it's, you know, Rodon for so many years was a 2-pitch pitcher. It's not sustainable. So what the biggest thing for Rodon this year is he became an actual pitcher. He added in pitches, his changeup, his curveball, the cutter, and which has made him successful. That's what he needed to do. especially to pitch in New York. So being a lefty in New York, being on that squad, Matt Blake, Gerrit Cole, Rodon needed to add pitches. Now he's a full-fledged pitcher. 2 pitches is not sustainable. We all know this. For so many years, eventually, you become very predictable.
That's a reliever.
At that point, basically, it's a reliever. The only person that can do that are relievers. And the only person that can go by with only 1 pitch is a Mariano Rivera. So, listen, shout out to Carlos Rodon for eating his own pride, putting his ego to the side, and saying to himself, all right, I need to learn, I need to adapt, I need to grow. And that's exactly what he's done this season. To everybody's point, the guy out there was giddy. And anytime, even when Carlos has a kind of a rough start, when the Yankees get a win, the one thing he always says when they come at him, how'd you feel about your start today? It wasn't the greatest. He always says, listen, as long as we get a win, that's all I care about. That's what you want out of you. That's what you want out of your teammate. That's what you want out of a starting pitcher. That's what you want out of an ace. Carlos Rodon is right there in line. Listen, come the playoffs, he's going to be a dog. As long as he continues to rely on his secondary pitches, his changeup, his cutter, his curve, Rodon's going to be there at the end. No doubt about it.
Yeah, no, and you said it spot on. And Foxy brought it up in the chat, right? The comments that Rodon had for Anthony Volpe after the game, right, saying that this kid is going to be special. Anthony Volpe so far, he has 6 triples on the season. I know we're talking about Los, but we're going to segue to Anthony Volpe right after this. What we're getting out from Carlos Rodon, this is what we all expected him to be, right? He has that energy that it infects his teammates, his rah-rah energy, and the perfect person for you to pair with Carlos Rodon and his psychopathic mindset, the way that he thinks. It's not Gerrit Cole, right? It's not Nestor Cortez. It's Marcus Stroman. Pay attention. When Carlos Rodon is on the mound, one of his first teammates that is hanging outside the dugout, that's leaning over, that's coming out to congratulate, is Marcus Stroman, because Marcus Stroman is feeding off of the energy that Carlos Rodon is leaving out there on the mound, and then Marcus Stroman takes that into his next start. This is a very under the radar pairing when it comes to Rodon and when it comes to Marcus Stroman. They have that extra X factor that it doesn't show up in the scouting reports. We've seen a lot of players that their presence in a lineup, their presence in a dugout or in a starting staff, it helps, and it helps his other teammates. The last person that comes to my mind, Yoenis Cespedes, right? His offense was on the next tier. When Yoenis Cespedes was healthy, he was one of the best hitters in the lineup. But not only was he a phenomenal hitter, he made everybody else step their game up the way Juan Soto in that lineup makes everybody else step their game up. Look at the walks that the Yankees are drawing right now. Aaron Judge is having a career year when it comes to his on-base percentage. You think that's by accident? You don't think Juan Soto, his understanding of the strike zone, he's sharing that with his teammates? Aaron Judge, before this year, the past 3 to 4 years, he led Major League Baseball at strikeouts from the bottom of the strike zone. Juan Soto this season, the way he understands the strike zone, Aaron Judge is not striking out like that. He's swinging at those pitches. He's fouling them off. He understands, the umpire is going to call it, so I got to foul that off. And he still goes into his at-bats, not thinking about the previous pitch that they gave to the pitcher, if that makes a lot of sense. I want to shout out some more folks who came into the building. My guy Los from Yankees Farm is in the building. Shout out to Los. I got my friend Tina in the building. Tina, how you doing? Salute, 3 capital S's. But we was talking about Volpe. And I got to bring up the chicken palm hero, Anthony Volpe. He's hitting 290, 6 home runs, 25 RBIs. He has an OPS over 800. This is what Anthony Volpe said after the game. Where I hit, I try to have the same approach and help out the team any way I can. I think I'm pretty fortunate to be hitting in front of Soto and to be hitting in front of Aaron Judge. And he's spot on when it comes to that. When Anthony Volpe was elevated to the leadoff spot, a lot of us was like, that messed him up. He doesn't know how to handle it. He has come into his own over these past 31 to 32 games or 33, whatever, how many games they are, he has come into his own. He had his last at bat when he got that triple. The count was 3-2, right? He fouled off a pitch that last year he would have struck out on, right? He's purposely going towards right field, and he's not just trying to get the home run. I know a lot of people want to talk about Gunnar Henderson with his 17, 18 home runs. Gunnar Henderson is hitting below 250. I'm going to ask you right now, what would you rather have? A shortstop hitting below 250 with power, or having a shortstop hitting above 250, hitting close to 300 with speed and a little bit of power? I'll personally take the second half. Give me Anthony Volpe. I don't need you to have home run numbers like Gunnar Henderson. Have that batting average close to 300, steal some bases, get on base. That way the Yankees can hit you and drive you in. TC, I know you was happy when Aaron Judge drove in all those runs without having to hit a home run. So I'll toss it over to you first, TC. Let's get your thoughts on Anthony Volpe so far this season. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love to see them score runs without home runs. Really, that's to me, I love to see that. But I mean, you know, I love the home runs, but can't live and die by them. But I was preaching, you know, long time ago that Anthony Volpe is going to be our leadoff hitter, and you know, he feels comfortable up there, and he's made adjustments. He's going to right field, like you said. He takes the pitch, whatever they give him, and he looks really comfortable. And I'm okay with the power being, you know, minimal, because guess who's behind you? Soto and Judge. So I'd rather have a 2 or 3 run homer than a solo home run. So good for him for you know, realizing, hey, I got to get on base. He's using his speed. He triples. I mean, what does he got? 6 triples, you said? I mean, that's amazing. And to start off the game, right, you know, they're scoring a lot of first inning runs. I think they lead the league in like 40. I think the stat was like 45 first inning runs. That's huge. Getting a jump on a team, getting early leads, and your pitching just settles in. I mean, he's the catalyst, and he looks really good up there. His defense is tremendous. I mean, he's making all kinds of plays, spectacular plays now, not just the routine. I mean, he's making diving left, diving right. I mean, he's just the sophomore slump. No way. He's just this is a sophomore phenomenal season so far for him. And I'd much rather have a 290 hitter than a 250 hitter, especially at leadoff. So, you know, hats off to Anthony Volpe.
Yeah, no, 100%. Erica said it right here perfectly, and I'll throw it over to Grace. Erica says the camaraderie in that dugout, it oozes through the TV. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the clubhouse. And that's a perfect point. I was listening to our friend Keith McPherson last night. Shout out to my guy Keith McPherson, friend of the show, friend of the channel, friend of the community. But Keith was saying that there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that Yankee fans, we aren't privy to. We don't get access to the locker room the way that Keith McPherson gets access because he has a media pass. He's from WFAN. And he said this last night on the show. You guys don't think Alex Verdugo and Marcus Stroman, if you guys think Alex Verdugo and Marcus Stroman influenced the clubhouse just from looking on the outside, being in the clubhouse, you see Marcus Stroman and Alex Verdugo being the main characters that is fueling this team. Right. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to the front office makers. I'm sorry if I'm having like connection issues. Am I good right now with you guys? Do you guys see me?
It's frozen.
We can hear you,
but you're froze. Now you're moving.
All right. I'll toss it over. I'll toss it over to you, Grace. I'm sorry about that. This is New York City Wi-Fi acted up. Go ahead, Grace. Let's get your thoughts on Volpe.
I have so much to say about Anthony Volpe. I don't even know where to start, but he's making me so proud, and just I could just cry from happiness. I feel like he's my kid or something, because we watched him come up. We all anticipated him coming up, and now that he's having so much strung together success, it just feels like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm his aunt or something, and I'm just like, you're doing it, you know. But his ability to hit the triple is freaking ridiculous. It's his speed. And I heard somebody the other day say speed doesn't slump. And there's no truer saying, because even if you're slumping at the plate, if you can work a walk and get on base, and Anthony Volpe can make his way around, like, he'll never slump for us at the top of the lineup, which is crazy to say. But once he figured that out and he got a little bit more comfortable, he started hitting for extra base hits and especially triples. I believe he's tied for league leading triples with Bobby Witt Jr. And the thing is, if Anthony Volpe hits a triple to start off the inning, forget about it. It's 1-0, period. Yeah. That's it. Because you got Soto and Judge, and then you got Doogie, you got Stanton. There ain't no way he's not coming home. With his speed and his baseball running IQ, there's no way. You're done. That's it. And I think teams know that. they're pitching aggressively to Volpe, but he's just so patient, so smart, and he's having the most unselfish at-bats. I'll never forget when he had that hit streak going. He beat Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano. He was chasing Joe frickin' DiMaggio, okay? Which honestly, that record may never be broken ever. Yeah. But regardless, he was making history, and it was his last at-bat of the game. It was his last chance to get a hit, and he worked a walk. And I was like, this player right here is playing for his team, not for himself. When he had a hit streak on the line like that, and he still worked a walk just to get on base for his team, are you kidding me? That's a leadoff hitter that I want. I mean, we've only played, how many games have we played so far this year? Like 70?
60, I think.
19, so about like 60 to 70 games. I don't know automatically off the top of my head.
Let's say 65. Let's say 60. Yeah. Okay, let's say 60. 60 games. He's got a 31 game on base streak. That's half the, I mean, what else can you ask for from a leadoff hitter? He is crushing it. He's crushing it.
No, I mean, and a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with you because, you know, I seen Viva La Volpe, my guy Sean Browning, Anna Marie. We played 62 games so far this season. Shout out to Anna Marie. But my guy Jay just said it, and you said it perfectly, Grace. When it comes to playing for your team, he is playing for his team. I remember there was a shortstop in New York City who played in Queens by the name of Jose Reyes, that at the end of the season, when a batting title was on the line, what did he do in his first at bat? He laid down a bunt and he left the game. He ain't played no more. Granted, the Mets were out of the postseason, but I don't want a player that all you're thinking about is your individual statistics. And that's why Derek Jeter was so important growing up. Seeing Derek Jeter constantly say, listen, the team's success is more important than my individual success, right? And that's the same thing Aaron Judge says, and that's the same way that that Anthony Volpe is carrying himself. And my guy Jay said it, guys, we only have 19 losses. It's June 6th. Can we just talk about how insane that stat is? Absolutely, Jay. Shout out to my guy, Jay. Shout out to everybody from Yankees Twitter. Appreciate you guys showing up and being in here. If you guys can, smack the like button for your guys. Smack the like buttons for Grace Monroe as well. Hit the subscribe button. Damien, go ahead, my guy. Let's get your thoughts on Volpe as we continue the convo.
First and foremost, all Yankee fans, we're the biggest fan base in the world. There's no reason why this kid's not voted into the All-Star game. With the biggest fan base in the world, listen, get to the internet, get to your apps, and start voting this kid in. Because there's no reason why he shouldn't be an all-star. Listen, as we said, Gunnar Henderson has power. The other kid, Bobby Witt Jr., has power. But the one thing that I noticed with Volpe is he's a leader on the field, man. This kid is so unselfish. Above all, the Gunnar Hendersons and the Bobby Witt Jr.'s. So, and obviously defensively, he's a stud. And what can you say? 31-game hitting streak, tied with Judge. Anytime you tie with Judge with anything, being the captain of the team, being the greatest hitter in the face of the earth next to Juan Soto, you're saying something. Perfect leadoff hitter. We all, last season, the kid obviously, was really trying to figure it out. And what makes him special is he said, I'm not going to just sit here and continue to be who I am. I'm going to go off season. I'm going to work on my craft. I'm going to stop being a home run hitter, and I'm going to start being exactly who I look up to, and that's Derek Jeter. I mean, Derek Jeter can hit 25, 30 home runs if he wanted to per season. The guy said, absolutely not. I'm here for average. I'm going to go for speed, double singles, get my guys in, on base, so on and so forth. Listen, Anthony Volpe is the perfect leadoff hitter, should be an all-star. Everybody vote that kid in. Let's go.
Big fact. Shout out to my guy, retired MCO, says, listen, I already voted for Volpe for the All-Star game, so we ain't talking about you. But if you want to make a new email address so you can vote for Anthony Volpe twice, you're able to do that too. That's not like totally illegal. I know it defeats the purposes of voting, but if you want to make multiple email accounts so you can vote for Anthony Volpe multiple times, I advise you guys to go out there and vote for Volpe more than one. But again, shout out to the chat as well. My guy, Razil.
What are we, the Astros out here cheating and shit?
If you ain't trying to cheat, you ain't trying to win, right?
Exactly. If you ain't trying to cheat, you ain't trying to win. But Sunil, he makes a point, and I want to just have the conversation about this real quick. Sunil says one more insane stat to shed light on is that this team without Gerrit Cole in the rotation were only 3 games off from the 1998 pace. Through 63 games, they were 47-16. We are 49-19. And again, what I'm going to say right now, because that comment from Sunil was spot on. Amazing comment, 5-star comment right now. What I'm going to say right now is not targeted to Sunil himself. It's targeted to Yankee fans out there as a whole. When we're talking about the 2024 Yankees, let them be the 2024 Yankees.
Right.
Stop comparing them to the 98 Yankees. Stop comparing them to Murderers Row. I understand that we're excited. It was on the same pace with just 3 games behind. But I'm just saying, let's just stop comparing them to teams from years past, because this 2024 team is special, and let them be in their own category. I see what you're saying, Sunil. Like I said, this is not me coming for you personally. I've seen a lot of fans talking about this. It's just like when a young player is coming into the league, don't say that they're the next Michael Jordan. Don't say that they're the next Derek Jeter. Don't say that they're the next Mike Trout. Allow Anthony Volpe to be Anthony Volpe and stop comparing him to Derek Jeter. Allow Jason Dominguez to be the Martian and stop comparing him to Mike Trout or other players. Like Ra just said, let's just enjoy the New York Yankees. Absolutely, Ra. Shout out to you for that one. But there's a trade rumor going around, right? There's a couple of different trade candidates that the Yankees may go out there and get. You know, you got a Jesus Luzardo, you got a Tanner Scout. Before we talk about any of the trades, I think there's one person that doesn't get mentioned in this conversation, and it's TC Still's favorite person in the world. And this is who we got to talk about. We got to talk about Brian effing Cashman. Brian Lorthodomus Bartholomew Cashman. Shout out to Brian Cashman, because the 2024 New York Yankees are amazing and they're on a different level. Definitely a bigger bounce back than last year, 82-80. But Salicata, he said this on WFAN a couple of days ago. This would be the greatest victory bout for Brian Cashman that he will ever take if the Yankees go out there and win a World Series. With everything that the Yankee fans have given Brian Cashman over the past few years, when it comes to the Fire Brian Cashman shirts, when it comes to the noise online, I'm guilty of it also. I'm not going to stand here and be like I've been a company man this entire time on YouTube. Absolutely not. Damien, I appreciate you being in the car. We finally have a useful. Everything's back to normal. Damien's in the car. People in the chat, stop freaking out. Yes, it's real Damien. The world is back to its normal routine. Damien's back in the car. I know he got to dip out in a few, so I'll throw it over to him to lead the convo with this. But when it comes to Brian Cashman, Yankee fans, on June 6th, I get it. There's a love-hate relationship with Brian Cashman. But like I said last week and the week before, look at all the players that Brian Cashman did not try to get this offseason, right? Yeah. What is Blake Snell doing right now? What is Jordan Montgomery doing right now? Look at Josh Hader with the Astros right now. Right, there's so many players that he packed. Andrew Benintendi. When the Yankees let Andrew Benintendi walk, you would have thought it was Mickey Mantle that left in free agency. The way Yankee fans were on Twitter up in arms. Look at what Andrew Benintendi did after signing that contract with the White Sox. Absolutely nothing. So I'm saying this to say that. And Brian Cashman, I trust for the moment. Right at the trade deadline, you need to go out there and you need to add to this team. Even though we got Gerrit Cole coming back, even though Jason Dominguez may be right around the corner, you still have to add to this team. We need a lefty reliever, maybe another starting pitcher. I'm not really sure, but definitely a lefty reliever. Damien, I'll throw it over to you. Let's get a take on Brian Bartholomew Cashman, and then you can throw it over to TC. First of all, that's not his middle name. I'm just making up random middle names for Brian Cashman. So his middle name is not Bartholomew. I didn't know his name,
Bartholomew. I was just calling him Bartholomew Cashman. So listen, the guy that we just finished talking about, Anthony Volpe, we were up in arms because Cashman passed on so many shortstops, right? Correa, Story. I mean, there was a list of them. It was like 5 or 6 of them. And we all blew a gasket because why he didn't go sign him, right? Because they had Anthony Volpe, who we just threw all the flowers in the world to. And clearly, he wasn't wrong about that. Now, last season, we know what he did. Last season, Brian Cashman admittedly dropped the ball. Let's face it, he did drop the ball. However, he did prove this offseason that when you light a fire under his ass, he will come through, and he did. Got Soto. Obviously, listen, another move that he made that kind of goes under the radar, but the best pitcher in MLB right now, who might be just the all-star starter, Luis Hill, he traded for Jake Cave. So, and Jake Cave is in the Colorado Rockies, doing whatever he's doing over there. So, I mean, listen, Brian Cashman hasn't been the greatest for the last couple seasons. He made it up this year. He put the boots to the ground. He did what he needed to do. And for right here, right now, we got to have his back. We absolutely have to have his back because this team is the best team in MLB. I don't even want to bring up 98 because last time we brought up 98 with a past team, 22, they fell on their faces. So I'm not going to put that jinx out there. However, this team is absolutely a World Series contender, as Cashman loves to say. But this time, it really holds weight. It holds water. So everybody give Brian Cashman his flowers. You don't have to like him. You don't have to love him. But you must respect him for the job he's done this year. So I definitely give him his props this year.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a shout out everybody who's in the building. You guys are killing it right now. Amanda, who's down there. Sierra, Sunil is down there. Ra said we can get Miller from Oakland at the trade deadline, and we'll be set with me. And this is the thing about Miller, right? This is not coming at Mason Miller. I think Mason Miller may be a phenomenal pitcher in the big leagues. One, he has so much years of control. It's going to have to be a big haul in order to get Miller. But this is the one thing I want to say. I know the Oakland A's ownership group are a bunch of idiots, right? I get that, but they're not this dumb, right? I'd like to believe that they're not just total buffoons. If they trade Mason Miller this season or even next season, that goes to show you that ownership group is just ran by a bunch of dudes that got like fantasy football teams and don't know how to actually run an organization, right? So if they trade Mason Miller, they're idiots. I like to believe that billionaires who own billion-dollar franchises, who are part of sports ownership groups, that they're not that dumb. I like to think that. Maybe I'm just being naive, but if they trade Miller away, that goes to show you that ownership group, it's a bunch of effing dummies. Go ahead, TC. Let's get your thoughts on your favorite bestie in the world, Brian Cashman.
Brian Bartholomew Cashman, huh? I just really, I mean, all the years that he's been here, it's just really hard for me to give him any flowers. But from last year to this year, I will give him a little bit. But that was because we screamed at the top of our lungs that we better not see the same team we did last year with all the, DFA guys and the Fab Four or whatever you want to call those guys and guys out of position. And it was just nonsense. But yeah, he has, he went out and made that trade for Soto, which was tremendous. That was the first step. And we had to wait. Yankee fans, we're not patient. We want, we want things immediately. And Cashman was patient and he, he didn't. He's like, I got it. We'll get Stroman, under the radar deal, low, payroll for, for Stroman, and passed on, all the guys that you said, Montgomery and Cease and so on and so forth. But getting Verdugo also another under the radar, and some of these other pitchers that he's gotten in the bullpen. I mean, he has an eye for it, but I mean, do we want to give the credit to Matt Blake for changing these guys, or is it Cashman that's seeing something that we don't see? And then having the patience to stick with Volpe and not, let's rush up Peraza and let's move him there. And like everybody, we were screaming, we're not always right. So I'll give Cashman a little bit of credit this year. If we win a World Series, then I will give him some credit. But until then, I mean, it's been a long drought since 2009, and they have the highest payroll every year. I mean, there should be no excuse for putting a championship team on this field every season. So, give him a little credit.
Grace, but before I throw it over to you, take a guess. What is Brian Cashman's actual middle name? It's not Bartholomew. Take a guess. What do you think his actual middle name is?
Hector?
No, it's
Brian
McGuire.
McGuire.
Brian McGuire Cashman. I never heard McGuire be used as a middle name. Go ahead, Grace. Let's get your thoughts about Brian Bartholomew McGuire Cashman.
I wonder if that was his mother's maiden name. Sometimes if you have a middle name that be seeming like a last name, it's usually the mom's maiden name that they kind of put in there.
Okay.
Anyway, side note. I think that Brian Cashman is a Hall of Fame general manager. It's not even an opinion. He is a Hall of Fame general manager.
Okay.
Just because his body of work, y'all, is going to happen. I think there's the devil that you know and the devil that you don't know. And if we were to lose Brian Cashman, there is a really good chance that we would all be crying for him to come back. Because as he's flawed, of course. Last year was horrible, of course. And we can look back at his trades and see which ones went well and which ones didn't go well. And when they re-signed Aaron Hicks and when they did this and that, I get it. But the body of work, getting somebody else is risky. And someday we are going to get another general manager. And we might be looking back on this era wishing for Brian Cashman. As crazy as that sounds to say. But I wanted to say on Mason Miller, trade package, I don't care. I want Mason Miller, I don't care. I want to win the World Series this year. And if he gets injured or if he craps out or whatever, that's fine. We have him under control for however many years. Clay Holmes is done at the end of this year unless they choose to pay him a lot of money to re-sign him. If they get rid of Clay Holmes or if they don't re-sign him, we will have Mason Miller. I don't give a shit about all these people in the minor leagues. Like, I know that they're great. Quack, 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 quack. Like, that's what they're for, is to trade them to win World Series. If you're this close, give me Mason Miller. I don't care.
I just want to let you know, when I was down there, Augustine Ramirez had a home run at Somerset, which was amazing. Also, Ben Rice, he had a couple of hits. Gerrit Cole gave him full compliments as a catcher, and he was called up to AAA the next day. Ben Rice is a guy that he could be a catcher and a first baseman for us. So Ben Rice may be knocking on the door when it comes to Anthony Rizzo's position because he's a first baseman as well as being a catcher. So I know what you're saying. Prospects at the end of the day, they're just the golden ticket from Willy Wonka, and we just hope that we got the golden goose. I get that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the trade deadline. Mason Miller could be an option if the ownership group in Oakland are a bunch of idiots, like I said. But I think realistically, Tanner Scott from the Florida Marlins, I think a lefty coming out of the bullpen, he's a closer as well. He has years of controllability as well. It's going to be a big package in order to get him. But the Yankees, he's more of a proven commodity, where when you look at Mason Miller, he has a history of injuries, a big history of big question mark injuries. This is not like he pulled a hamstring or he stubbed his toe and went on the IL. No, this is elbow injury, shoulder injury, all red flags when it comes to investing money or investing prospect capital into a reliever or a starting pitcher. So the safer bet for me would be Tanner Scott. One, he's a reliever. He can back up Gerrit Cole if Gerrit Cole leaves next year, and he gives us an option that Miller doesn't. He's a lefty coming out of the bullpen, and that's what we need. We need a lefty coming out of the bullpen. When we had one of our most dominant bullpens, we had Chapman and we had Andrew Miller coming out at the same time. Two lefties coming out of that bullpen. We need to go back to that. If we could recreate that with Tanner Scott, who's more proven, who's more of a safer bet, may not cost you as much when it comes to the prospect capital. So that's why I'm saying he's more of a safer bet. But this is another guy that he can fill in as a closer. And he's done it with it's not like he's never closed before. He's done it. So we're not asking a guy, hey, you've been a seventh inning guy or a setup guy, jump up and be a closer next year. No, this is a guy that has a track record of it. But, Tanner Scott is a guy. Jesus Luzardo, another guy who's a starting pitcher. I don't really see the reality with that. Yeah. Go ahead, Grace. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I wanted to ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me throw you this little scenario in there.
Throw me this scenario.
So we have so many prospects that are highly touted, worth a lot, right? That they're to use to make your team better, especially when you're in contention for a World Series, okay? Let me tell you who is also in contention for a World Series with a farm that it goes deep. The Baltimore Orioles. Now, let me tell you this. if the Baltimore Orioles go out and trade a prospect package to get Mason Miller, the fuck are we gonna do?
They have the
about
capital to do it. Their prospects are they have multiple top 20 or top 10. The Yankees, Jason Dominguez just got into the top 10 prospect list just now. He made it. He got promoted into that list yesterday. Sorry, Grace, go ahead, keep cooking.
No, Jason Dominguez is off the table. First of all, don't go crazy. Don't go acting crazy.
But that's going to be the start of the conversation.
No. That's the end of that. That's the end of that. No. He'll be up by then.
If you're Oakland, right? You want a game-changing prospect coming back. Jason Dominguez is a top 10 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. That's the start of the conversation. Is Jason Dominguez for Mason Miller? Just like with Dylan Cease, the start of the conversation was Jackson Holiday for Baltimore, and it was Spencer Jones for the Yankees. Those are the start of the conversation. And the Yankees and Baltimore, they both hung up the phone on Dylan Cease when they both needed to add starting pitchers to their rotation.
Well, I'm not in on those conversations, but Jason Dominguez is off the table for me because he's going to be up at the end of this year and he'll be a starter next year. So he'll be off the table. Now, Spencer Jones, I might go into some conversations with Spencer Jones and some other prospects around that. I'm not saying just send Spencer Jones away. I don't care. I'm just saying I'd be willing to hear what that package would be, because we ain't got no place to put Spencer Jones. Let's be honest. We don't have a place for him. Even if Doogie walks, we have too many outfielders. What are we going to do? So if we're that close to a World Series, I'd be willing to listen to a conversation with Spencer Jones, but Jason Dominguez is off the table. And it doesn't have to be Mason Miller. I really don't care, but we do need left-handed. I'm not trading Spencer Jones for the Marlin guy, though. I'm not trying to hear that.
I don't think that's where it would start either.
No, I think that,
No.
Damian, I'll throw it over to you because I know you got to dip out soon because it's around that time. And I'm going to put the link to the open panel as soon as Damian leaves, and then everybody can come up and you guys could jump down our necks about how you're giving up whatever prospects you want to give up. Go ahead, Dave.
Man, Mason Miller, he's, phenomenal talent. But again, to your point, Hector, the injury history scares the hell out of me. You're talking about, again, the UCL, he's already had that. The shoulder, he's already had that. And again, the prospect capital that would take, this guy has 5 years of control, 5. So when you have a guy like Mason Miller who has 5 years of control, the ask is going to start Jason Dominguez. It will start as a holiday. It's going to take your top 3 prospects. It's going to take at least 3 to 4 top 20 of your prospects. So for a guy who is as talented as he is, what scares me is we don't have very good history with trading with the Oakland Athletics. Every time we trade with them, we end up falling flat on our faces, and that scares me. So granted, Mason Miller, again, great guy, great talent, but his injury history and our history with the Oakland Athletics scares me. I would go after a Tanner Scott. It wouldn't take as much as prospect pool as it would to get a Mason Miller. But listen, flat out, we need 2 relievers. We need a righty and we need a lefty. Santana, you gotta go. Caleb Ferguson, you gotta go. Y'all are killing me. Jesus, Santana, I don't know what happened to him, but the last 5 or 6 outings, he's just destroyed us. Yeah. So, but Cashman's gonna do his thing. The one thing about the Yankees that I always trust are relievers. So there's been so many times where they've come up with these guys and we're like, who the hell is this? I don't even know this person's name. Next thing you know, a year later, best believe not only do you know their name, the entire league knows their names. So when it comes to relievers, I trust them, and whatever they decide, I'll back them on that, because when it comes to the bullpen, they've always been on top of the bullpen. But besides that, guys, I appreciate it. I got to go. Hector, TC, Miss Grace, chat, everybody have a great day. I will see you later. Hector, tomorrow, Freestyle Friday. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
And
tomorrow,
tonight.
Freestyle Friday, 4 p.m. Tonight, you can catch me and Damian doing the pregame report at 6 p.m. on X. Damian, you stay safe, brother. Be good out there, bro.
Bye, guys.
That's my guy, Damian. So let me just move things around because I'm going to get ready for the open panel. I'm going to put the link for the open panel in the chat. I'm going to just keep this going like this until we get people to come up for the open panel. Let me just bingo, bango, and Bongo. Yeah. So TC, I'll toss it over to you. What's your thoughts on the trade candidates? You know, Tanner Scott, Grace bringing up Mason Miller. I see Ra in the chat is a big fan for Mason Miller also. What's your thought, TC? Where you sitting at?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get a Mason Miller, but I don't think we can trade all these guys, a big, huge package for a closer, especially a guy that has the injury, past, and it's just, somebody put in the chat a ticking time bomb. I mean, that's a lot of
everybody.
A lot of guys that we have coming up are going to be part of our team next year because of the Soto deal. We're going to have to play a lot of these guys, so we can't get rid of all the top guys that we have. So would I like to have Mason Miller? Yeah, but the Tanner Scott makes a little bit more sense. And you brought up a name that is getting thrown out there is a reunion with Aroldis Chapman coming back as being the setup guy to Clay Holmes. And I wouldn't be opposed to that. Another hard throwing lefty. I know he has his, control issues, but hey, it's another guy that has, experience in there in the bullpen. It wouldn't take much to get him. So I wouldn't mind that either. But we still have some guys coming back. Efros is still, going to come back. And I don't know why they keep Marinaccio down. I'd like to see him back. He looked like he was, feeling it back, in the big leagues, and they just sent him down like that, like nothing. Yeah, Santana and Ferguson are just killing it. They're killing me. And what about Tonkin? Tonkin has impressed me the last couple of outings, and
I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting because when you look at Tonkin, his ERA is below 3 right now, so he's very surprising. Go ahead,
shocking
TC.
me.
Keep cooking.
He's shocking me. Yeah, but we have some guys that coming in. I'd love to see Yoendrys Gomez come back. I mean, we have guys. Clayton Beater hasn't been up here yet, so we have some guys that can fill in. I'm not too worried about the bullpen. I'm not too worried about anybody right now, any part of the team. But if there was, somewhere to worry, it is the bullpen. But the starters have been killing it with giving us innings and saving that pen, and that's gonna help toward the end of the season, especially when we get all these guys back. We're gonna get Cole back, Efros, and who's the other one? Well, Loizaga's out, but there's somebody else out, Birdie. So I mean, we're gonna get some reinforcements later, and but I wouldn't mind a reunion with Chapman.
Yeah. Listen, I know a lot of people in the chat was like, hell no, when you brought up Chapman, but I want to take a second to shout out my guy, Rod Thompson, with the $9.99 super chat. Rod, appreciate you like always helping us keep the lights on. Rod said the Yankees have to decide which is more important, mortgaging the future or winning right now. Prospects or prospects, unless they're named the Martian. Absolutely. The Martian.
That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
Is in full effect. That's your guy. That's also our friend Jonathan. He's been a big proponent of calling up Jason Dominguez ASAP. But I got some people backstage. I'm going to bring them up as they showed up in the queue underneath us. I got to start off first with my guy, Richie Rivera from Empire State of Baseball. I was hanging out with Richie at Somerset, so I'm bringing my guy Rich. Rich, how you doing?
Richie,
what's up? Well, first of all, I'm happy to see Hector in person. It was 6 months in the making. I was looking up there and I was like, oh, he's a real big son bitch. Holy crap! So good to see Hector in person.
Hopefully you don't say that about me, Rich.
Eagles in the parking lot, but I won't say any more about that. So listen, here's the thing, guys. Grace, I love you. Listen, Beauty and Grace. But boy, howdy, do I hate your take about wanting Mason Miller. And listen, TC, Damian, Hector offered great insight on it. And I'm going to offer some more. What have the Yankees done successfully over the last few years in terms of acquiring relievers? Have they gone for that grand slam home run? Or have they taken chances on players that we never really even heard of? And trusted Matt Blake and the organization to build those players up. So why not continue to go down that route if you're going to add to the bullpen instead of going for a home run and trying to trade your top prospects? That's number one. Number two, the Yankees have to give up either Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones to acquire Mason Miller. But they weren't willing to give either player up for a Dylan Cease or for a Corbin Burns. Like, the optics of it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do that for a starting pitcher that would lead your rotation but you want to do it with a reliever who realistically, we don't know how that pressure translates from Oakland to New York. So right now with Cliff Holmes at the 9th inning role, let's continue with what we have there in Holmes and Weaver. Tanner Scott was mentioned. I think that's a great name. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He's 30 years old. He's pitched in the American League East before with the Baltimore Orioles. I think that is actually a perfect fit for that bullpen right now. I think his fastball tops at 96, quick faster than Caleb Ferguson and Victor Gonzalez. I think that is the best option right there for the Yankees to add to their bullpen. And that's it, Grace. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I like the point you made about the pressure and New York and not being the same as Oakland. I think that's a really, really good point that I haven't thought about, to be honest. I do have faith in Matt Blake. My point is just, if we're right there, right there, I'm willing to go all in to do whatever it takes to win that ring. That's what I'm saying.
And here's my rebuttal to that.
Yeah.
We're not right there.
No. If we are in September, but if we are,
things that can happen between now and October, and even when we get to October, you've seen how the postseason's shaked out for teams in the past. The favorite teams, as of late, aren't guaranteed to make it to the end. So although we're saying we're right there, we're not. We're not even close. We're still in the third inning.
Right.
Nah, you 100% hit it right on the head. Go ahead, Grace. I'll let you opine.
No. It's just I think if we're at the trade deadline and we're just one move away and we don't take it to save prospects, that would be a mistake. And everyone will crucify Cashman next year after that, when his contract is up, for not doing that. So it's hard because you have to see the future. Nobody can, right? We can only look back, and that's our luxury as fans. We get to judge Cashman based on hindsight, right? But I'm just saying that I'm willing to hear a conversation, and I'm willing to go there.
And I think Rich would be on the same boat, just like you, just like me, just like TC. If it makes sense, logically, if it makes sense, if there's a player out there that we could go out there and trade for, absolutely. I'll tell you this right now, Grace. If there was another carbon copy of Gerrit Cole available at the trade deadline, I'm trading either one of those guys for another version of Gerrit Cole. There is no other version of Gerrit Cole. So that's why I don't want to trade Jason
Luis Hill
or Spencer Jones. If there was a clone version of Mariano Rivera available at the trade deadline, I'm trading both Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez for that reliever. There's just that reliever is not available or doesn't even exist. Go ahead, Rich. I saw you had your hand up. I'll let you go before I let you down. I got more people to bring up. Go ahead, brother.
Well, first, if my Wi-Fi craps out, you have the right to just kick me out. So the second thing I just wanted to bring up, when it comes to moving from Spencer Jones to Jason Dominguez, I think I made this point before on Morning Brew in the past. The thing where I tread lightly with trading either of the two, there's still no guarantee that Juan Soto's coming back to this team. At this point, listen, I feel great about it now compared to what I did prior to the season beginning. But while you still have Juan Soto that's going to be a UFA and Alex Verdugo who's going to be a UFA, you want to keep your outfield capital, especially the highly touted pieces of it, before you can make a significant move on a long-term deal with Soto or even Verdugo. So that's why I would hold tight on either moving Jones or Dominguez prior to the offseason this year.
Yeah. Boom. That was the best point. And you know what, Rich? I still love you, baby. Ain't no problems over here. We can disagree and still be friends. You know, it's nothing but love. But yeah, that's a great point. Great point. I'm gonna write that down.
No, thank you guys.
Juan Soto is a free agent.
Rich, appreciate you like always. I'll see you out there on these Twitter streets. Listen, folks, for those in the chat that don't know, Richie Rivera, Empire State of Baseball, make sure you follow them. They go live on Monday. It's a panel of 2 Yankee fans and 2 of the best Met fans that are out there in the world, especially my guy Joe Puglisi. That's my guy Joe. Nobody disrespects Joe. The only person that could call Joe a dick is me. I'm the only person that can do that. So shout out and Rich also. We're the only 2 people. Rich, appreciate you, brother, like always.
Take care.
That's my guy, Rich. So I got a few more people backstage that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to bring you guys up as you appeared underneath me. So I got NFE, I got Nosebleed, I got Jonathan, and I got Sunil. Sunil and Jonathan came up at the same time, but I'm going to bring up Jonathan first because I know Sunil likes to be the last person to go because he's a villain. He likes to be in the villain of the chat. NFE, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know. He's stabbing me in the camera right now. You guys can't see it. He's stabbing me. Go ahead. Go ahead, NFE. What's good, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on?
Chilling, baby, chilling. Listening to
Just
the combo,
lounging, huh?
talking trades. You know, you're sitting on a nice little hammock. The weather looks nice out there. You got the nice glow in your face. You're hydrated. How you feeling, bro?
Fresh haircut.
Oh yeah, no, it's all fresh out here. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I know you all were talking about some of the trade targets. I think one of the things that the Yankees absolutely have to go after is left-handed reliever. They have to go after a left-handed reliever. I don't think Gonzalez and First. Clearly, they're not the answer in that bullpen. Dennis Santana, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's not the guy.
Horrible.
And yeah, he hasn't been looking good. His ERA is in the high fives right now. And, Grace is probably going to hate me for this one, but I know she keeps talking about Mason Miller, but I'm pass on him as well. I feel like that's just an injury waiting to happen. And with those trades with Oakland, man, it just never ends up well for the Yankees. I mean, we've seen that in the past. So I like Mason Miller. I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I think he's great, but it's just I don't know me personally. Yeah. And it's going to cost a lot of prospects. And what's the one thing that a lot of fans keep talking about is these prospects. I mean, granted, they're not going to all make it to the major league roster. You're going to have to trade some of them. You might have to DFA some of them, but utilize the guys that you need to utilize. But like I said, I think that's one thing that the Yankees need to target is left-handed relievers. So it could be a Tanner Scott. It could be like an Andrew Nardi or something from the Marlins. I would say Gerrit Cochet, but I think he's going to cost a lot. I know the White Sox are looking to shop him around apparently. So the White Sox
might be having a fire sale here soon.
Yeah. Well, they talked about trading maybe Gerrit Cochet or Luis Roberts. So they said that they're both available. Apparently, the Padres might trade for Gerrit Cochet. I was reading something about that. But
question. Isn't Gerrit Cochet? Didn't they convert him to a starter this year? Isn't he starting this year, not coming out of the bullpen?
Yeah, they did convert him to a starter. But I'm just wondering if maybe they couldn't make him a starter with the Yankees, especially depending on what they do. Obviously, when Cole comes back, we know he's in the rotation. But then what happens when Schmidt comes back? Then what do they do? Like some decisions to make with that rotation. So I
heard them say that Gerrit Cochet has already pitched way more innings than he's ever pitched in his life.
Yeah,
it's not even halfway through the season. So it's like a risk.
Yeah, that's especially if you trade for Gerrit Cochet and you try to put him into the bullpen. Now you're asking him, all right, switch up your routine. And instead of going on the same days as a starter, now you're going to be a reliever. Now you're going to have to come out of the bullpen. It's not easy for guys to make that transition. I have a friend of mine that he lives in Washington Heights. His father he has friends from the Dominican Republic who are trainers out there in DR. One of the guys that he had, you guys remember Touki Toussaint? Was a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, right? He's still in the major leagues right now, but Touki Toussaint was a guy that he came up as a starter, right? This is a guy that he was conditioned to be a starting pitcher ever since he was 12, 13 years old, got to the majors, and then with the White Sox, they converted him to a reliever. And he told again, this is all according to my friend's father or whatever, he told my friend's father, he's like, listen, it's not easy being a reliever. I can't just come in there every day and throw 98 miles per hour. It hurts my arm. You got to build yourself up to that. So you got to give credit to these relievers that could go in and day out. Yes, we think that, it's just one inning. They could come back tomorrow. Their body, not everybody's body is built like that. It's just like if you're a wrestling fan, right? You guys know wrestling. Your body is not meant to get into a car crash 230 days out the year. Your body's going to break down just like a reliever. A starting pitcher already is putting too much strain on their arm. But if a reliever is going day after day after day, 3 days, 4 days in a row, their body is going to break down, and you got to build yourself up to get to that level. NFE, before you go, because I got more people down there. But besides the Tanner Scotts, besides the Mason Millers, is there anyone out there that you think could be a surprise accusation? Could be a surprise option at the trade deadline?
Surprise acquisition. I mean, I'd be extremely, because a name that's being constantly talked about amongst the Yankees community, and I don't mind him. I just don't see it happening. But I'd be extremely surprised is Ryan McMahon from the Rockies.
Shout out to LI Yankee King. That's LI's guy. That's LI's guy.
Yeah, he's one of the few players that, I mean, he comes with a, with a team-friendly contract, sure. But I mean, I just, with all these third-base options that people are talking about, like him, McMahon, Arenado, I'm like, no way. Like, forget him. 6 years ago, I would have been all over it because Arenado was awesome back then. But I don't, and that contract is too much. So, I don't see how adding that kind of money to the payroll. And then the other one was Alex Bregman, which I don't understand that one either. Wow. I know Alex Bregman. I'm sorry, but no, and it's, look, you look at his stats now with Bregman. I mean, it's not any different than some of the players that are on the Yankees right now. The guy's hitting 230 right now. We already have guys like that. So, we got guys that could fill in that role at the moment. But I mean, Ryan McMahon he's actually decent. He's not bad. He's actually like one of the few good players on the Rockies. So I'd be surprised if the Yankees, honestly, got any offensive help. I'll be honest, because I feel like the offensive bats on their team, but I'd be surprised if they added bat at the deadline.
Yeah. No, 100%. And again, shout out my guy NFE. If you guys aren't following NFE, I don't know what's wrong with you. Make sure you guys go follow the Strike Zone on YouTube. Follow my guy NFE as well. NFE, we're gonna be doing a pregame space on Twitter around 6 p.m. If you're free, I know you got your pregame show. You do like what time do you do it at 5 or 6? Your pregame show?
The pre-games, it kind of depends on what time the games are. Okay. I've been doing them lately because of what time the games start. I've been doing them around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
okay. Well, make sure you guys tune into my guy NFE on the Strike Zone for his pregame, and then after his pregame, come join us over there on Yankees Twitter. NFE, my brother. Shout out to you also. Again, 600 subscribers. You're on the way up. You're monetized on your channel. Shout out to you, bro. I love seeing what you're doing, bro.
Hector.
What happened?
618 subscribers to be exact.
There you go.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm so happy for you, bro. Keep killing it, NFE. Love you, brother.
Spaces, Hector and Grace, TC. Thank you all. You're all doing an amazing job. So keep up the good work.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. So I got more people backstage that I want to bring up. I got Uncle Tats who just came backstage. Then I got Nosebleed, Jonathan, and Sunil. Uncle Tats, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out, right? Because I got to bring Uncle. First of all, everybody is like coming on the panel from outside. I want to be outside. I'm in a 5x5 apartment in New York City. Uncle Tats, invite me to a barbecue so I can go hang out with you. All right?
No, we're gonna be talking soon. We gotta go on that fishing trip, bro.
Yeah, I was just about to say, listen, my birthday is in September, right? I plan on going to Chicago to go see the Yankees at Wrigley Field. So in August, if you want to pick a random weekend to go fishing, just let me know and we out, all right?
You and Alex, you come out one weekend, and Tats and I will take good care of you guys.
Yeah, of course. I know that. Love you, Unc. Love you, Unc. But you listening to the convo. I know you guys over there at the Pinstripe Chronicles, you guys been talking about different trade scenarios. What's your thoughts about Tanner Scott, Mason Miller? Where do you sit in this conversation on who the Yankees should get at the trade deadline, Tats?
I'm not a fan of Mason Miller only because bullpen flamethrowers make me nervous. We already saw the risk of it with a guy like Aroldis Chapman. And I know the ages of the acquisitions are different, but it just, I think that the ticking time bomb, I don't trust it. I'd rather go for a guy. I think Tanner Scott would be a better fit only because he looks like a guy that Blake would do very well with. I think that's the guys that Blake have been working with have been completely underestimated on other teams that we've had question marks about that have completely come to the Yankees and risen to the occasion. And I think Tonkin's a great example of that. Even guys like Poteet, it's these diamonds in the rough. You don't need a shiny toy. You just need somebody that's going to hold the fort.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see you, Grace. I see you. You got that smirk on your face. Go ahead, Grace. I'll let you respond to Tats because for some reason everybody keep on bringing up Mason. I didn't purposely do this. Don't think I'm sending text messages to people. This is just random that they all coming up and just want to eat their Mason Miller. Go ahead, Grace. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm a strong woman. It's 2024. No, I'm just kidding. Uncle Tats, I want to say, sun's out, guns out. You look like you belong in Texas, so come on down. Let me know. We'll fire up the barbecue. We'll get it all going. You look like my people. That's a compliment, by the way. And anyway, I'll just say, what the point that I'm trying to make, y'all. Okay, first of all, and I know Hector. Wait, no, TC said y'all earlier, like Grace would say, all y'all. First of all, the plural of you is y'all, and the plural of y'all is all y'all. So,
okay,
all y'all, listen to me right now. The point that I'm trying to make is, I want to win the World Series this year. We haven't been this close since what feels like 2009, okay, to me. I know it's early. I'm not trading for Mason Miller today. But if we get to the trade deadline and we still are looking like we're looking now, and we are that close, I am having the conversation and I am pushing all my chips in and I'm going all in on this year, okay? And I'm not saying trade every single person. Obviously, still got to be smart. But I'm just saying I would be willing to sacrifice and do what it takes to win the ring this year, okay? That's my point. Like what Raw Thompson said, I'm with Raw. That's what I'm saying. I'm ready. Let's go. Do I have to sacrifice? Sure. Do I have to give up some prospects that's going to hurt? Yes. But will I win the ring? Like, I know there's no guarantees in sports, for fuck's sake. This is not my first baseball season. I get it. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. If we had Mason Miller and Clay Holmes, games would be over in the 7th inning. If we're leading, the game's over.
I don't think any of us is going to argue and say that we don't want to add to this team, right? But if it is Mason Miller, we just got to understand, one, there's a bunch of scenarios. One, the Oakland A's ownership are just idiots if they trade this kid away this season. That's the one thing I want people to understand. I like to think that they're not idiots, that they're not just how can I say this, blowhards, right? That they know how to run an organization. I don't want to just say that they're idiots, right? I don't want to think that. But if
they're the Indians from Major League, that's what they are.
Exactly, right? They're the Guardians or the Indians from back then from the game and stuff. Yeah, just like that. Mm-hmm. If a trade presents itself and it's available, I'm making the trade if it makes sense, and that's only if it makes sense. Just a lot of people. Erica says, "Listen, why don't we just call Mariano? I'm pretty certain he can still throw an effective cutter." Absolutely. Yeah. I saw Mariano. He was at one of the signings at Woodbridge. I think Mariano can throw a little bit of the cut. If people want to trade for Alex Bregman just because he's a phenomenal postseason hitter, I was just with Bernie Williams' agent a couple of days ago. We could get Bernie Williams. He has great numbers in the postseason. If you guys just want a postseason hitter, if that's all you want. Bernie Williams has phenomenal numbers in the postseason. But Tats, before we let you go, let's get your last take. Besides Tanner Scott, besides Mason Miller, is there any other player out there that's on your radar, or maybe one of the radars from the guys from Pinstripe Chronicles that we're not talking about?
No, I really don't. It's one of these. I'd rather bring somebody up from within than go out and deplete any of our depth to improve this team. I think we do have enough guys in our system to plug a hole that needs to be taken care of, because I don't want to take on any contracts when we need to make sure that we have the open check for Soto. That's my priority. I don't want we ended up with this contract, so it just didn't work into the budget. I want to eliminate that completely.
So let me just say, Tats, this is the fundamental disagreement that I'm having with, I guess, everybody in the chat today. I love you all. This is the difference. You're talking about next year, my boy. You're talking about signing Juan Soto next year, year after. And I get it. I want to sign Soto too. But I want to win a ring to this year. And I'm talking about this year. And I'm not sitting on prospects. And then next year, I look back and say, shit, I should have traded so-and-so. I'm talking like I'm the general manager. We should have traded so-and-so. We would have had the ring. We could have done it. The Braves are hurting. The Dodgers ain't shit. Mm-hmm. The Orioles are whatever, but we're about to beat them. Okay? So what I'm saying is, this is our year. This is it. I want to sign Soto too, but that's next year's problem.
And I just want this to be clear. Rara, I don't think Mason Miller is not good. I think Mason Miller can have a phenomenal career if he stays healthy. And that's the big question. If, because it'll be one thing, like I said, if he had a hamstring injury, right? If he had an oblique tear, that's one thing. But we're talking about a guy who had a UCL strain, the same thing that Gerrit Cole had in spring training and was shut down last year, right? We're talking about a guy who had a rotator cuff strain who was shut down at the beginning of February, who had a late spring training. This is what we're talking about. And when you're talking about prospects, I don't think Brian Cashman is holding on to Everson Pereira because he doesn't want to trade Everson Pereira. I don't think Cashman is holding on to Oswald Peraza because he doesn't want to trade Oswald Peraza. Nobody wants those other prospects. They only want Jason Dominguez and they only want Spencer Jones. Those are the only prospects that Chicago wanted from us, that even San Diego, at first they wanted Spencer Jones and the Yankees stood their ground and said no, and they moved on to Drew Thorpe. Right. So when we're talking about the prospects that the Yankees could potentially be holding on, we got to be clear and name the prospects. The only two prospects the Yankees are holding on to are Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. No one's trying to trade for Augustin Ramirez right now. As much as I love the kid, no one's trying to trade for him right now. No one's trying to trade for Brock Selvage right now. No matter how much I love the kid and think that kid could be special, Mason Miller is not going to get traded for Brock Selvage. It's not going to get traded for Augustin Ramirez. It's not going to get traded for Everson Pereira. That's not going to be the prospects that get that trade done. The prospects that get that trade done are Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez to start the conversation, and then you add on whatever else. That's starting the conversation. That's what we got to understand. If the conversation is going to have, if I'm Oakland, if I'm the GM of Oakland, I want Jason Dominguez and I want Spencer Jones. If you don't want to trade them, click. I'm hanging up the phone. I could find some idiot out, some other idiot out there that I could get their top two prospects from their farm system.
That's a no. Yeah. Jason Dominguez is a no. If it has to have Jason Dominguez, then it's Jason Dominguez. Then it's going to be a no for me. I mean, that's where I'm going to draw the line because he's going to be a starting outfielder next year, regardless of if we sign Soto or not. So to me, that's a line in the sand. But everybody else, I'm willing to hear a conversation.
If Dominguez didn't get injured, I don't think we trade for Alex Verdugo. And I've been saying that if Jason Dominguez doesn't have Tommy John surgery and doesn't blow out his elbow in September, Alex Verdugo, we're not even having the conversation of the dog. Shout out to my guy Frank Luna. I'm not sure if you guys saw the game. Frank Luna was in left field yesterday. I'm trying to get on Frank next week or the week after. Frank was in left field yesterday. He printed out 300 of those beware of the dog sign, and he was just handing them out to people in left field for Verdugo. So shout out to my guy Frank Luna. I'm trying to go to the game. Let's keep this tradition going. I know printing out 300 flyers is a big ask, but if there's anyone out there, print out the beware of dogs so we can hand it out to people in left field for Alex Verdugo, because the same love we give to Juan Soto in right field, we need to do the same thing for Verdugo in left field. Tats, last comment to the people before I let you go, and I'll toss it over to TC before we bring up the next people to join us. Go ahead.
I want to, with Grace's thing, and I agree. I want to win this year as bad as anybody. I've seen a lot of baseball. I want to win so bad you have no idea. But do we take the risk of having another 2009 where we go all in on bringing players, and then we have to wait another 15 years to get everything back in order? Or do we want to try to stay work within a budget, and have sustained World Series success? That's where that's how I'm feeling this year.
I hear you.
I think that's fair, Tats. Go ahead, Grace. I'll let you respond. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hear you. That's the chance. That's the chance that you're willing to take. It's the classic bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You know, if I don't go all in, I could have maybe 2 championships in the next 10 years. That if I do go all in, I will definitely have a championship this year. And there's no guarantees, and I understand that.
Yeah.
That's just a fundamental disagreement that I'm having with some people today. And that's okay. I love everybody and you're allowed to disagree. I respect you. But my view is I want it now. I want it now. I don't care about the shoulda, woulda, couldas, maybe next year, maybe the year after that, and we have a dynasty, and that's great. Like, we can still have a dynasty and win this year. I want to win this year, period. That's just
point,
how I
the
feel.
end. Uncle Tats, love you.
And it's not right or wrong.
Appreciate you, like always. You already know. Make sure you guys go follow Uncle Tats and the Pinstripe Chronicles. We're doing the pregame show later on today at 6. If you're free, Uncle Tats, you're more than welcome to join us. Love you, Uncle, like always.
Love you too, bro. TC, good to talk to you.
Yeah. Good to see you, Tats.
My guy, Uncle Tats. No, solid points, right? Because, you know, when we went all in 2009,
right,
one of the caveats or one of the, how can I say this? One of the, oh my God.
Like drawbacks or something?
Not even a drawback. It's, what was that book? What was that movie with Ashton Kutcher and he wrote in the book? And
Butterfly Effect.
The butterfly effect, right? A butterfly effect. Thank you so much.
Man, get us on $100,000 pyramid, whatever it's called.
There you go. A butterfly effect of the Yankees going all in and signing Mark Teixeira is the fact that when we signed Mark Teixeira, we forfeited a draft pick that turned into Mike Trout. So there's an alternate universe out there that in 2009, we may not win the championship, but we draft Mike Trout, and Mike Trout comes up with Alex Rodriguez, with Derek Jeter, and he's the next face of the franchise as they retire. And I think that's how we should be looking at this. Yes, we do want to go all in, but just imagine if we would have had Mike Trout in 2014, right? This is another one. In 2014, there was a trade proposal on the table for the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. It was for B.J. Upton. It was for Chris Johnson or some idiot like that. And it was for a starting pitcher by the name of Julio Teheran, if I'm not mistaken. All coming back from the Braves. Do you know who were the 3 prospects that were supposed to go back in that trade? Grace?
Who?
Gary Sanchez, Luis Severino, and Aaron Judge. What would Yankee fans have done if we traded Aaron Judge away for B.J. Upton and for Chris Johnson?
Yeah.
How will we be looking at Brian Cashman? We will be outraged. Having to see Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs for the Braves.
Yeah.
Yankee fans would have been at the stadium with the guillotine.
So you're the revisionist history though is the benefit that you're having right now. So let me say, if we get to, let's say we get to the ALCS and we win, let's say we go to the World Series and we don't have Mason Miller, let's say, or another closer. It doesn't have to be Mason Miller, y'all. I'm just saying I'm willing. But then next year we don't win, and then the next year we don't win, and then the next year we don't win, and then the next year we don't win, and we have Spencer Jones rotting in AAA because we have too many outfielders, and then we end up trading him for some, you know what I mean? Like, that's the other side of the coin. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. We can't predict the future, right?
No, I'm just saying. I get that, and honestly, this is a conversation that Grace and I we can have for hours and stuff. That's why I love Grace. That's why I love TC. This is why this is the Yankees Morning Brew open panel. It's not an echo chamber. It's not the same thing being repeated. It's not fluff. It's not sugar, honey, iced tea, like as the kids say. I got Sunil doing batting stances underneath in the video. You guys can't see it. It's hilarious. Nosebleed section. Let me get a thumbs up, and I'll bring you up right now to join us. All right, Nosebleed got a thumb up. That's literally what Sunil was doing. Nosebleed section. How you doing, my brother? Good morning. Hope all is well. Sorry about the long conversation with people, but go ahead, bro.
That's right. I have a bone to pick with Grace.
Another one. Everybody take a shot. This is another person. Go ahead.
Grace, 1 minute, Grace. You're saying you're all in for this year, and then the next you're saying you're not going to trade Dominguez because you need him for the future. Which one is it? Are you winning now, or are you looking at the future?
Dominguez is going to be up this year. He'll be in the postseason. So that's this year. Next.
Technically.
and no Mason Miller, his arm is going to fall off. No Miller, no matter what.
I was about to say, if he says Mason Miller, everybody take a shot. It's happy hour somewhere in the world, so you could drink liquor at 12:39 in the afternoon. All right, go ahead.
My Black Horse trade is somebody from the past, Wandy Peralta.
Okay.
He's a lefty. He's used to New York, and San Diego's really not going nowhere.
I like that.
Good choice.
I ain't mad at that one. That one's out of left field. That's not something that I thought of. I've never heard of it. I've been on Twitter Spaces every day. I don't think anybody brought that up. That was a solid one. Grace, what's your thoughts on Wandy, and then throw it over to TC?
Yeah, I love Wandy. We miss him. We miss him in the bullpen this year. We miss that role. Weaver's doing the best he can. But yeah, we could definitely use a Wandy for sure. And I'm not sure if the Padres would be willing to do that. I know they're barely 500, right? Or right around there, but they're still good enough to get into the wild card right now. The National League is so weak. I think they only have 5 or 6 teams that are above 500. I'm not even lying, y'all.
Yeah.
Like it's bad over
Pretty
there.
bad.
Oh, it's bad over there. But if they'd be willing to, I'd love to see Wandy back. I mean, but yeah, we'd have to take on his contract. I'm not sure what they gave him.
Yeah. And that's what Erica put in the chat. That contract might not let that happen just because the Yankees, they didn't want to go that extra year with Wandy. I do like it, right? Because if you weigh out our options, I'm not an extra year for Wandy Peralta. I'd rather take on an extra year of Wandy Peralta instead of trading for a pitcher that has any injury concerns, whether that's Mason Miller, whether that's Tanner Scott, whether that's whoever else. If it's Wandy Peralta and I could get him on the cheap end just for him to improve the bullpen, absolutely. Because you got to think of it. We got other guys that are still coming up. Right, Ron Marinaccio is making his way back. Right, I know he's on that struggle bus going back and forth from Scranton to the majors, but he's making his way back. We got Yorandes Gomez who could be an option out of the bullpen. I got Sunil still doing his dumb shit behind stage right now. That's hilarious. So there's a bunch of options for the Yankee fans. So at the trade deadline, we don't have to panic. Right. If there's a trade that makes sense, go out there and make it. Let's not panic. My guy, Rich Rivera, loves bringing this up. Nosebleed 2009, when the Yankees won a championship. Do you remember who the trade deadline, who the Yankees traded for? The blockbuster trades that the Yankees traded for?
No.
DeMarco Marte.
By the name no, DeMarco Marte was the year before. A pitcher by the name Chad Gaudin and an infielder by the name of Jerry Hurston Jr. That's who we traded for at the trade deadline. Right, Hurston, that helped us win a championship. So, yes, as much as we want the shiny toy like a Mason Miller, as much as we want an all-star reliever like Tanner Scott, as much as we may want that, it may be some random-ass player that none of us ever thought being the guy that Brian Cashman traded for. It may be the 24th guy on the Kansas City Royals roster that they trade for because the scouting department likes that. Do you guys remember? It was a few years ago when the Yankees traded for Clay Holmes and we gave up a young pitching prospect and Yankee fans lost their minds. Why are we trading for this project? This guy whose ERA was always over 4. What did Matt Blake do with Clay Holmes? He turned him into an all-star closer.
Yeah,
I say let's trust the track record, right? And when you look at the track record of our organization, we're able to develop solid relievers. We may not have been able to develop some good starting pitching, but the reliever side of it, we have that down pat. Now you have Luis Hill and other starters coming up. Hopefully it starts to change for the starters, but we've been able to develop real good starters ever since Dylan Betances was a part of that bullpen. And when you talk about prospects, and I'll throw it over to Grace and TC, and then I'll get Nosebleed's last point. But when you talk about prospects, the prospects we have now are better than Andrew Brackman, are better than Manny Benuelo, are better than Jose Tabata, are better than Andy Phillips. So, yeah, I get it. Those prospects from back then that we held on just a little bit too much, the Miguel Andújars, the Clint Frazers, we could have traded them away. I get that, right? But when you look at what we have right now, we don't have just one or maybe 2 prospects that are standing out. We have multiple prospects that are standing out. So in years past, we only had like 1, maybe 2 prospects that we could like try to hope that they could turn out to be something. Now we got multiple lottery choices when it comes to these prospects that if not all of them aren't going to hit. But the more you have, the higher percentage of at least 2 or 3 of them hitting as top prospects. And that's something that the Yankees didn't have in the past. We would put all our eggs in the basket for just Jackson. What was it? Justin Jackson, Austin Jackson. We put all our eggs in the basket for Austin Jackson. We thought he was going to be an all-star. We used him in the trade for Curtis Granderson. He had a solid career for Detroit, but he never turned into the player everybody thought he was going to be. Grace, I'll toss it over to you, TC, and then I'll get Nosebleed section last point before we bring up Jonathan and our favorite troll, Sunil. Go ahead.
Shout out to Curtis Granderson. I loved him on the team back in the day. Let me ask you guys this, okay? Let me pose you a little question, Nosebleed. And TC. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let's say we sign Soto, because I think we're all in agreement that we all want to sign Soto, right? Bingo. Let's say we sign Soto. What do you do with Spencer Jones? Jason Dominguez is going to be up. First base.
Spencer Jones played first base in college and in high school. It's not his favorite position to play, but he could play first base like Cody Bellinger.
I understand that there is a there's a fringe group of Yankees fans that think Spencer Jones will be playing first base. But, you know, he's graded out as like one of the greatest center fielders ever in AAA, in minor leagues ever, right? Mm-hmm. So okay. So you got Aaron. You want to leave Aaron Judge in center field?
Nope. I want Dominguez to be a center fielder.
So you move Aaron Judge to left?
If Aaron Judge could play center field in Yankee Stadium, he could play left field at Yankee Stadium. Left field at Yankee Stadium is like center field in like 20 different ballparks.
Okay. So you're going to move Aaron Judge to left field. Then you have Jason Dominguez in center field. And you got Juan Soto in right.
Yeah. Or I could keep Dominguez in left and let Aaron Judge play center. And then whenever we get rid of Giancarlo Stanton, that's when we transition either Judge and Soto to be the DH. And you could put Spencer Jones in center and have Dominguez in left, and either Judge or Soto being right field, depending on who's the DH for the day.
I think you're okay. I think y'all are talking a lot of crazy things right now. Like you're just gonna throw somebody into first base like it's no big deal. Like, oh, just throw them over the first base. This person.
It's different than like, because I've seen Yankee fans call up to WFAN saying, hey, Jason Dominguez, you can just put him at third base and hit him 500 ground balls. He can figure it out. No, that's idiotic. That's stupid. At least Spencer Jones, he has a track record of playing first base. Now, I see a lot of people saying, let's put Aaron Judge at first base. He's never played first base in high school.
I think that would work.
Spencer Jones,
we can do that.
He has a track record of playing first base. He has a track record of playing the outfield. So with Spencer Jones, there's a track record there. I'm not going to take, like, you remember when before the Yankees got Johnny Damon, you had a bunch of random ass beat writers saying we should put Derek Jeter in center field because he runs on the fly ball very well. That is one of the stupidest things I ever heard growing up as a kid. Who the hell wants to put Derek Jeter in center field? He's never played center field a day in his life. At least with Spencer Jones, there's a track record of him playing first base. So there's something to lean on or go off of.
Yeah.
Spencer Jones is a lefty, right? He's lefty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lefty. He throws right, and also Spencer Jones was a pitcher. So Spencer Jones is not like he's just a hitter that plays in the outfield. No, he was a pitcher coming out of high school in Vanderbilt. He got Tommy John surgery. They shut him down for being a two-way player. He only transitioned to just a full-time hitter. So he's an athlete on top of it. So he'll be able to make that transition very easily.
So then he should be playing first base right now. If that's going to be the grand plan, they should move him to first base.
He's not ready yet. He hasn't had enough at bats at AAA, and that's the thing.
No. I'm saying in the minor leagues, he should be playing first base. If that's the grand plan, he should be getting reps right now in minor leagues at first.
I ain't got no argument against that. You just shut me up. Nosebleed. Eddie, I'll throw it over to you. Let's get your takes on this one. And I'll throw it back over to TC.
I have a lot of takes. And some of them won't be popular.
Go ahead, Nosebleed. Go ahead.
I think moving Judge to first is a good thing because his wingspan can rob a lot of hits that people could beat out throws to first because he could reach farther for the ball. And he's an athlete.
Got to get him off his feet in center. Yeah.
And we have 3 spring trainings before Stanton leaves. So he could play first base in spring training and try. We have Spencer Jones as a backup, but if Judge can play first, then you have Spencer Jones in the outfield, Dominguez in the outfield, and Soto in the outfield. And we don't have to worry about it. Rizzo's not going to be here for much longer.
Mm-mm.
So we need somebody.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the idea.
Yeah, listen, when it comes to Judge, and this is my reservation about moving Judge to first base, that injury that he got, what foot was it? What toe? His right foot. His big right toe on his right foot.
Okay.
On his right foot. When a first baseman is standing on the bag and they're waiting for the ball to be received to them, what foot is on that base? Your right foot. I don't want Judge having to put pressure on his right foot and on his toe on that bag, waiting for the ball to come to him. It's one thing when Judge has to patrol the outfield, right? The ball's not hit to him all the time in the outfield, right? When you're at first base, 70 to 80% of the ball game, you're involved because they're either hitting it to shortstop and they're throwing it to you. They're either hitting it to the third baseman and throwing it to you. They hit it to the second baseman and throwing it to first base. So if you put Judge at first base, his toe is liable for an injury because you have more movement at first base. You're involved more.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm concerned because he's so tall and Spencer Jones is tall too. And being able to pick the ball at first, you got to squat. You got to get way down there sometimes. He's a tall man. I mean, just the physics alone of him trying to bend down and pick balls. I mean, I don't know, but, I'm not trying to say anything.
And like Ra-Ra said, this is why I agree with Ra-Ra, right? Even though Ra-Ra said I'm all over the place today, but this is why I agree with Ra-Ra. Judge he's never going to play first base. He's going to be the DH more than anything. He'll be a DH more than anything else going forward. So if that's the way that we're looking about it, I think Judge would be the DH. And again, if Giancarlo Stanton figures it out, we write him off, whatever, work out a deal, however it works out, just get Stanton's money off of the book so you can free up that DH spot. That's how it will work in my eyes. What about you, TC?
Yeah, I mean, as much as you want to try to make a case for Judge at first, I just don't. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's. I mean, I liked it, but some of the points you guys are making it's looking like it probably won't happen. But we got to get him out of the outfield. We got to save his legs, and DH is probably the spot. But Stanton is just holding it up, and Stanton's here another 3 years. So yeah, it's just I mean, it's a good thing to have a surplus of outfielders and good guys, but Spencer Jones might not even be ready for next year. I mean, he's struggling, he has his issues, and you don't know. Injuries might happen, and so you can't it's hard to foresee the future sometimes, but what are you gonna do?
I want to throw it back over to nosebleed section. Nosebleed section. Let's get your last take. And I got Sunil playing his bat like it's a guitar and a shotgun right now. He's like going chick like it's a shotgun, and he's playing it like it's a guitar waiting to get up here. So let's get your last take, brother. Predictions for the game later on tonight. Just anything you want to throw out there, bro. It's all on you.
5-1 tonight. If they play, because of the weather, it might not be so good, but it's a 5-1 Yankee win if they play.
Nice.
Yeah. Copy. I'm looking at it right now. It's a bit overcast. I'm literally driving. I'm 10 to 15 minutes away from Yankee Stadium. I'm just 2 exits away on the Harlem River Drive. My weather right now is just overcast. But hopefully the Yankees do play because it starts to rain at 3:00. It clears up around 5 p.m. So it's clear from 6 to later on tonight to 2 a.m. So hopefully they get the game in. Nosebleed, appreciate you like always. Thank you for the weather update. But make sure you join us tomorrow for the Freestyle Friday. All right, brother?
Okay.
My guy. So I got 2 more people backstage, Jonathan and Sunil. Jonathan, let me get a thumbs up and to bring you up. And sorry about that. We just had a bunch of people here on the open panel. Go ahead, Jonathan. How you feeling this Thursday, baby?
I'm feeling good. There was another guy that you haven't mentioned as a possible option for a lefty.
That's why I didn't bring him up. I was waiting for you to come up so you could set that up. I saw that you put it in the private chat. So go ahead, Jonathan. Let us know who's that secret player that you're talking about.
I'm thinking about AJ Minter. The problem
AJ
with
who?
AJ Minter on the Braves.
Oh, I didn't hear that last part. I'm like, did he just curse right now? I didn't hear that last part. Go ahead, AJ Minter. Go ahead.
What did you think I said?
No, I just heard the ER at the end. I heard you said, and I thought you said effer like at the end. I'm like, did he just say that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But I'm not Samuel L. Jackson. But the problem with him, Minter, not the other words. He was just recently last week placed on the IL, so he's a lefty. Depending on if he can return, he might be a reasonable option as a lefty reliever option. But right now, I do like the idea of possibly a Wandy reunion. I do like that idea. Depending on what the Padres, I believe. Because if the Padres know we want the lefty, they will try to soak us for the prospects, especially since
they got enough of our prospects already.
Yeah, no kidding.
The Soto deal. So
Yeah,
they will want us
to
they will want us to overpay for Bondi. That's my only concern with trading with the Padres.
Yeah, and Jose Medina in the chat says it perfectly. I know this is going back to the convo that we was just having. Shout out to Jose Medina, also was in the chat all day. I meant to highlight his chat, but he said if we keep Stanton for 3 more years, he will cripple the youth movement. Absolutely, because he clogs up the DH spot. It limits you to what you can do with Judge and Soto. If the DH spot was open and Jason Dominguez is killing it, he had a double in his first at bat down there yesterday at Somerset. I mean, at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. If he was killing it, guarantee you he'll be up here and you could just slide you could DH either Judge or Soto if you didn't have to worry about that. Keep going, Jonathan.
One thing to remember about Stanton is starting next year, the Marlins will pay $10 million of his contract, the rest of his contract. So if you DFA him, do the Yankees? If you DFA him this year, do the Yankees lose that $30 million that the Marlins are supposed to pay?
That I don't. If they trade him, I know they lose him. If they DFA him, I'm not sure if they lose out on it, right? But if they could work out a buyout where the Marlins they pay $10 million going forward, and the Yankees said, you know what, you got $22 million left, we'll give you half of that. Just leave us alone.
I don't know. I don't know how that will work because starting next year, the Marlins will take up $10 million of his contract, and that will reduce the Yankee salary.
That's a question that I'm writing that down right now. I'll try to get the answer for the pregame show, and I'll try to get you the answer for later.
Yeah. Do you ever interview any scouts or any GM people in the money department?
I'm working on some interviews for us for the next few weeks. So I'll let you know when we get them.
So I would have a suggestion for you. If you ever interviewed someone who's involved with the money side of baseball, you can ask him about that type of contract and what they can do.
The thing is, Jonathan, I invite people, right, and I send them the links to the show. And sometimes when I'm talking about finances for teams, people don't like when I air out teams' dirty laundry and show people where you can follow their finances, right? So I've gotten somebody on Twitter tell me that, like, hey, I work for X and X organization, and you're spot on, but stop talking about it.
It's all public. I have the website. Right,
not all of it is public. That's the thing, Jonathan. Some of it is private. Like the New York Yankees, and I'm gonna just lay this out. The New York Yankees, the team, it's publicly traded. That's publicly traded. You could find all the information for the New York Yankees. The LLC that owns the New York Yankees and the Yes Network is privately traded, and you can't get any of their financial records. No, but that's what I'm talking about.
I think what I'm talking about is just the contact for the players, not the overall money. The contact for the players are all public.
Yeah, but the money that the team makes, it gets hidden in the back channels. But yeah, I'll try to get a scout on. I'll try to get somebody from the front office, Jonathan, just for that. But you've been listening to the conversation about different trades. Where are you at with the trades, Jonathan? Because we got Sunil, and I got to bring Sunil to join us in the convo. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I mean, the Yankees are pretty. The Yankees, I think they will do the absolute minor thing, just like in 2009. They don't need very much. They just need a lefty reliever. And that's about it. So if you can pull off a possible trade for Wandy, I like the idea of getting Wandy back. I don't know what it will take. But Mason Miller is an absolute no for me.
I got one. I got one.
Who?
Okay.
I don't remember if he's lefty or not, but David Robertson from the Rangers.
Oh, he's righty.
He's righty. He is doing really well. He's been a Yankee. He's been tested in New York. We love him. The Rangers suck. What are your thoughts? I know he's not a lefty, okay, or he's not a lefty, but
I always get him.
I always liked Robertson, but I don't see.
I'd say if we're able to get him, why not? I wanted the Yankees to bring back David Robertson in the offseason.
Yeah.
I thought,
well, the Rangers. The Rangers are struggling, and Seager went out yesterday injured with a hammy. Who knows what's going to be the story there?
He's not going to cost you much. He's not going to cost you much. David Robinson's not going to cost you much. One, because he's on a 1-year deal. He's a veteran. He's up there in age. I wouldn't mind a reunion with David Robinson. One, he's already pitched in New York. I'm not getting David Robinson to be the closer to replace Clay Holmes. No, I'm giving David Robinson to be a 6th or 7th inning guy. That's what I'm getting.
I would take him over Chapman.
If you can get David Robinson on a cheap cheap deal, just trade away your excess prospects. Maybe I would do it, but at the same time, I would prefer to get a lefty.
Yeah. Jonathan, brother, appreciate you like always. I got to get Sunil up here because we got to start getting ready to wrap things up. But I'll see you on those Twitter streets. Your pops asked me, who is that person, Hector? So if you go on YouTube, right, and if you search, there's a YouTube channel called Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst Sports Fans, right? If you look up that YouTube channel, the person that runs that channel, he works for the Utah Jazz organization. And he got very upset at me when I ousted him that he worked for the Utah Jazz. His channel a few years ago was on the rise. He had over 30,000 subscribers and stuff like that. He came on one of our open panels when I was on my first podcast for the love of the game, being super disrespectful to our friend Jay Boogie. So I was like, you know what? You're not going to be mean to my friend. So I went online and I did a deep dive looking at his IP, finding out his IP history, finding out, just following his Twitter, and I was able to pinpoint is a guy named David that works for the Utah Jazz. So now he started his YouTube account again, and he has only 2,000 subscribers. So yeah, I'm like the FBI. Don't piss me off. I know how to find people. So I'm gonna bring up Sunil to join us in on the conversation. So now, my friend, what it do? Again, you guys don't believe me. His YouTube channel is Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst Sports Fans Ever.
Sprinks,
Luka, Jay, Doncic, Mavs, Sprinkles, Esquire.
You gotta misspell there, Sunil. Sunil misspelled something.
What did I?
You misspelled something.
I didn't misspell any.
It says Sprinks.
Yeah, whatever.
Come on, buddy.
Turnabout's fair play.
Oh, you talking about Mr. Grammar Police wasn't able to spell sprinkles properly? Go ahead.
Come on, let's see the baseball stance. Let's see it. What you been doing back there?
Oh my God, Lord, this is deteriorating quickly.
Yes. Let's go, Sunil, before we lose subscribers. Go ahead.
You're not losing subscribers. Stop it. You're probably gaining them by the 10,000s per second.
I wish I was gaining them by the 10,000. We're sitting on 4,320 subscribers on our way to 5K. Let's go, Sunil. What's your thoughts about the different trades? Tanner Scott, Mason Miller. You've been back there listening to the conversation. Let us know. What's your thoughts, brother?
Mason Miller, unless you have bionic arm surgery, hard pass. Because he's missed significant time over the last 2 years with a lat strain, shoulder, and an elbow. He's off limits entirely. And this is aside of the fact of what's going on with the Oakland front office. Oakland front office, I think, is not as unintelligent as we're making them out to be to trade this guy. They will definitely want and get the haul they get, whether it's from the Orioles or another contender, preferably in the National League. Just get him out of the AL entirely, I would say. Maybe the Braves are stupid enough to take him. Who knows? I mean, the last time, what's this guy's name? The guy who went down to the MC, he tore his knee up on the Braves.
Acuna.
I'm talking about Austin. Yeah. Oh, Acuna.
Yeah. So last time in 2001, Acuna basically, tore his knee up and everything. The Braves won the World Series, winning 88 games the entire year. Who knows if that magic could repeat again? Hey, I mean, instead of the Phillies or the Dodgers, they could be the representation this time. I mean, they've been consistently there in the last couple of years in the playoffs, that they're just one step away from getting to the LCS, let alone, to the promised land. Now, as far as my take earlier on comparing this team to 1998, I'm not jinxing it. I want to basically set a pretext here. What I said earlier, this team without Cole, setting Cole back in the rotation doesn't do as much as people are, you know, projecting it to be from a chemistry standpoint of view.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Poteet by chance who's taking Schmidt's place. That's sort of a blessing in disguise. I mean, Schmidt's going to miss 2 years. Okay, it makes this
2 months. 2 months.
2 months. 2 months. 2 months. Sorry, 2 months. 2 months. Sorry.
I'm like 2 years. Jesus Christ, bro! I just had so much depression when you just said that. Go ahead.
2 months. 2 months. So he's going to miss 2 months. He's going to be back in August. All right. That makes your decision to get Cole back in the rotation a whole lot easier as far as who goes, either down to AAA or to the pen. That's Cody Poteet, unfortunately. I had a plan for Poteet, basically. Maybe we could, with the whole bullpen budget thing, maybe we could implement him as Luke Weaver's backup, basically for the long man role. When we have bullpen budget issues, like what would always come about in the world of analytics. Now that basically helps us when you have a situation where this streak of starting pitchers not being able to go 6 innings, as long as they have, knock on wood, if that ever breaks, you have another option. So Cody Poteet is your guy to go there.
I just want to ask something. You see this version of Sunil? I like this version of Sunil. When you come up level-headed and you're giving us facts on facts on facts. I like that with Cody Poteet being the backup for Luke Weaver, because when you see it for Luke Weaver, he's performing at a level we've never seen from Luke Weaver. Yeah. Shout out to Matt Blake. Shout out to the coaching staff. Whoever got in Luke Weaver's ear and was able to unlock that extra gear, shout out to you, because Luke Weaver looks like a phenomenal reliever coming out of that bullpen. I remember when we signed Luke Weaver, we was having the show. It was me. It was my guy Ruben, and it was Don Sicario when they announced that the Yankees signed Luke Weaver. And I was like, why Luke Weaver when he was so bad last year? Look, the Yankees knew something that I didn't know when it comes to Luke Weaver. Grace,
they unlocked on.
I'll throw it over to Grace to get her take real quick, and then throw it over to TC, and then we'll circle back to you, Sunil, because we got to wrap things up. I got Li backstage. We'll bring up Li, and then we'll close things out. Go ahead, Grace.
I don't know. Go ahead, TC.
Go ahead, TC.
I mean, Poteet in the bullpen, it might work out. I mean, you never have enough pitching, so it's a good thing to have, and we have guys in the in the minors that can come up as well. So, I kind of disagree with you, Sunil. I think Cole coming back does a lot to this staff. I mean, with Hill and Rodon, that top three is that's lights out. That's lights out.
Yeah. So those are the guys.
Sunil, let's just get your last take, just because I gotta get ready to wrap things up. And I know TC
Working
has a life to live, and so does Grace. Yeah, past 2 hours. Go ahead, Sunil. Last point, and I gotta bring up Li. We gotta close things out. Go ahead, bro. Make it fast.
Hill, Rodon, Stroman, and Cole. These are your 4 guys that are going to stay in the rotation. So to TC's point, you don't touch any of them. Unfortunately, it's going to be Cody Poteet who's going to go. If not, it's going to be Nestor. We've got 6 guys. We've got 6 guys basically to work with. And all I said earlier to basically put closure to that point is that with this team being 3 games out and the starting pitching being, in a position to be potentially stronger, I can see this team going a little bit ahead of that trajectory that the 98 team was on. And that's not jinxing it. That's basically establishing this team's own identity in and of itself based on the trajectory where we're at right now and how far ahead it could project with stronger starting pitching and the offense clicking on its own separately, period.
It's team special.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you.
Yeah.
This episode of Yankees Morning Brew is
Beware
brought
of
to
the
us
dogs.
by
Get that sign
Laxative.
going.
It's brought to us by Dad Jokes. Shout out to my guy Sunil, and then I'm gonna bring up Li. We're gonna get ready to wrap things up. Li, Kaiba, Young King, go ahead, bro. You've been listening to the conversation. Let us know how you feel, and also shout out to you. I'm jealous of your mullet. Go f yourself. It's very majestic. You have a very majestic mullet. Go ahead.
Thank you. I like my mullet, even though it's two colors right now. Even though I wanted it to be two colors, I don't know why I said it completely wrong, but whatever. On to the trade talk. But
go ahead, Eli. No, make it fast, just because we gotta get ready to wrap things up. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. We've been going live, and we gotta get ready to close
I just wanted
things
to
out.
say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yankee fans need to stop bringing up Mason Miller. It's not going to happen. Oakland has already stated he's in the bullpen this year because we want to rehab his arm to make it stronger for next year when he goes into the rotation, and we're going for 2026, 2027. That's their goal, is to go for those 2 years to contend. So stop bringing up Mason Miller. It's not happening. And we're not giving up Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez.
I hadn't heard that they were going to make him a starter. I hadn't heard that. Oh, really?
He was initially, when they drafted him, him to be a starter. The only reason why he's coming out of the bullpen is so he could build up his arm strength. That's literally all it is.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
UCL problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, UCL, shoulder cuff problems. That's why they have him in the bullpen to ease him back. Li, any give us what's your best random 30-player trade that you've come up with on Twitter in the past 20 minutes?
Well, what? Well, I was making a thread about AEW, but I couldn't make a thread about trades again.
Yeah, make the thread about trades. Send it to me so I can have it ready for the pregame show later on today. Is that a plan, Pinky Promise?
All right. I will try
pinky
my
promise.
best.
My man Li with the pinky promise. You never break a pinky promise. Li, love you, my guy. Appreciate you like always. Sorry about that, guys. I just realized we really went on for 2 hours. I apologize to Grace. I apologize to TC, my co-host, lovely co-host here. TC's texting me bro, I got a fucking life to live, bro. I gotta leave. He texted me that 5 times just now. I just want everybody to know that. Grace, I'll throw it over to you. Let's get your last words for the people, and then we can toss it over to TC.
My last thoughts today is I guess I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat and everybody who came up on the panel, because even though, sometimes we have differing opinions or we have differing takes, we can all respect each other and respect our opinions and where we're coming from, and that we all love the New York Yankees. At the end of the day, we want to win the World Series. We want to be great like the Yankees should and will and are always going to be. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for not, even if you disagree with my take, not attacking me, but respectfully having a conversation. That's what this show's about. That's why I love being on here, Hector and TC, and y'all letting me come on all the time. And I love doing this with you guys because we all love the Yankees, and I love all of y'all. And that's what I want to say. Let's go kick the Twins' ass again.
Shout out to my guy Crackle Nuts that is in the chat. Shout out to you, Crackle. Crackle Nuts put in there that I found him on the internet. No, I didn't find you on the internet at a Dunkin' Donuts, but shout out to my guy Crackle Nuts. Yeah. I met up with him for the first time at this past NYYU event. Awesome guy. Love you, my guy. Appreciate you always supporting. Appreciate you always being in the chat. Shout out to my guy Crackle Nuts. Shout out to everybody else. Go ahead, TC. Last words, baby.
Yeah, no, thanks again, to everybody in the chat who showed up on the open panel, Damien, NFE, goes on, Tats, all the rest. Grace, we love you. We're always gonna, support you no matter what. Yeah, we all have our opinions. We all have our, we just want to win, like you said, we do. And this year has been special so far. We deserve it, and I hope it continues. But we never know who we're gonna get. Might be someone we're not even talking about. But let's beat up the Twins again, and we own them. And then I'm looking forward to this weekend with the Dodgers. We got to sweep the Dodgers. That's
facts.
That would put an icing or the cherry on top for this.
I'm looking forward to this weekend like it's postseason. I'm not joking. That's how much I'm looking forward. I ain't doing nothing. Nobody call me. I'm turning my phone off.
Yankee fans that are going to the stadium this weekend. I know my friend Erica's going to be there. I know other people that's going to make it there. I'm going to try to make it to Friday's game. I got family in town. It may be hard for me. I'm busy Saturday and Sunday. Also, Sunday I'm working in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, so Sunday I'm definitely not going. But for you Yankee fans that are going to the stadium, the Dodgers, I think it was last year or the year before, they had the flag, the Dodger flag in the stadium in left field. If you're a Yankee fan going, don't let the Dodgers do that. Don't let the Dodgers come into our home ballpark and disrespect our ballpark. If you're going to go out to Yankee Stadium, be respectful. I'm not telling you guys to be douches out there to people. I'm not telling you to be douchebags. But if you see any Dodgers fan trying to bring out the big Dodger blue flag for left field, nip that in the butt. This is Yankee Stadium. This is the house that Babe Ruth built. Even though we're right across the street, this is still the Bronx, baby. This is still 161 River Ave. We are still the New York Yankees. Take that Dodger shit. Go over to Hollywood Boulevard. Go over to LA. All right. Go to Chavez Ravine. Go to the place where you kicked out people so you could build a stadium. How about that? Go to Chavez Ravine. You kicked out all the people from that area so you could build that disgusting stadium when the Dodgers moved. That's the only thing I got to say about that. But until next time, we'll be back tomorrow. Yankees Freestyle Friday, first episode. We'll be back tomorrow. So it's going to be something special. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. We're going to rock out from 4 to about like 5, maybe 5:15, because I know my guy Joe from the shift is going to be rocking as well. But until next time, peace, love, applesauce, drink some water, stay hydrated. Like my guy Jimmy Randazzo always says, hug your girlfriend, don't hug your prospects. And until next time, doses.